Oh shit, look at that hair. This is all hair. The anime right here. Is this like 4 kids or something? To be Shaman King. The bright flashy colors. Oh shit, that's a big ass sword. Look at those wings. So those two seem to have a very tied fate to one another. Like tied destinies. See destiny, you could say. This is fun. What is that thing? Why is it dancing? I don't want to see that. Yeah, this one looks like it takes a darker tone again, which I'm so here for. Why are you drinking blood? Is that your own blood? I really like the way the voice just shone through. Fullmetal Alchemist? Holy shit. She just woke up and she's like... Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be returning to 2000s. So I know we checked out 2000s anime openings not very long ago, but Paintsino, the guy who, you know, you're very accustomed to at this point if you've been checking out content in this channel for a while, he has requested that we do 2000s anime openings again. I don't know why, but I'm sure there's a reason behind it. So we're going to be checking out more mystery 2000 anime openings. Gonna be a ton of fun. These 2000s anime openings are always a ton of fun, so I just really want to get dived right into this again. If you guys enjoy these videos, please leave a like, please subscribe if you haven't already, and please comment letting me know what you'd like to see next from the 2000s or from any other decade. If you like gaming content, I do have a gaming channel, so feel free to check that out. The link is in the description below. That is Jasmer_games. And I do have a Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call that shit nowadays. You can find that at Jasmer_tweets, again, in the description if you want to follow. That's where I post updates. That's where I post when I'm going to upload videos, stuff like that. So, you know, follow there for updates. And yeah, ring the bell if you want to be notified when I post these videos. And yeah, that's all for me. I'm ready to jump into this video. We're going to get, I've been told 10.5. Don't know what the 0.5 is, but 10.5 anime openings today. So, all from the 2000s. Let's go. Alright, so here we go. Opening number 1. Let's see what we get. Yeah, I have no idea what we're going to get today, so this will be fun. Okay. Space. We're continuing the space theme. I just did a bunch of Gundam openings. Wow, look at that. That's crazy. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed. So we are continuing with Gundam. That's funny. Mention of Wing. Yeah, you can see the transition between cell and digital here. Looks very different. Looks great though. Very poppy opening too. Oh shit. Having been exposed to the twinkling. I like the different colors being used for the Gundam here. Like there's, you know, you can tell who probably pilots each based on colors alone. I really like the twinkling sound in the background. Yes, this... Soko ni Aru. Hell yeah, we are back. More Gundam. So funny enough, the singer's voice did sound familiar, but I'm so bad that I would never be able to place it. I just hear singer's voice and I'm like, huh, this sure sounds familiar. This is Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, released in 2002 by Good Old Sunrise. They're back again, and this time directed by Mitsuo Fukuda and written by Chiaki Morosawa. They both met in their school days. They joined Sunrise in 1979 at the very young ages of 19 and then eventually went on to marry each other. Oh, that's cool. Character designs are by Hisashi Hirai, whose work is all over the late 90s to mid 2000s. Kind of emblematic of the era. The song is INVOKE by TM Revolution, who did Soul Eater and Darker Than Black. Yeah, again, I would never hear that. Domestically speaking, this is likely the most popular anime song, really? Wait, TM Revolution is one guy? I thought it was a group, so that's why like I would refer to them as them, opposed to just like him. But yeah, no, that's crazy. I would have thought that... Actually, yeah, that makes sense. It's a Gundam opening. So yeah, like Gundam's huge in Japan, so you know it would make sense for a Gundam opening to be the most popular TM Revolution opening, I guess, that they've done. I guess Seed, I think I mentioned it maybe in a comment recently, but Seed, I think Wing, and Witch from Mercury are the only 3 Gundam entries that I had ever heard of prior to checking out any Gundams. So when I was checking out Gundam openings in the previous 2 videos that I posted, I was really surprised by just how many there actually are. But I'm so like happy to be able to check out all of them because they were all great. So, you know, now that we're at Seed, which is one that I'd heard of before, it's very much a departure from the old look of Gundam. Obviously, it's gone from cell to digital now, so things look different. But in terms of the production and what I saw, it still very much looked like Gundam. It didn't look like a different series entirely, so I'm glad that that transition didn't seem to be like something that kind of switched and changed too much about the franchise. It still, you can tell it's Gundam, you can tell that everything remains the same, I guess. There is a noun in the next blurb that you're just going to whittle down to a single letter in brackets to preserve word count. You'll see why. In Cosmic Era 0071, humanity is divided into coordinators, those genetically modified at birth and driven to space, and naturals. Those that have not been altered remained on Earth and largely looked down on the coordinators. Our Lord and Savior Kira Yamato is a coordinator that lives on a neutral colony which is attacked by Zaft, a coordinator military group seeking to steal a set of new mobile suits called Gundam. So this series is essentially a hard reset on Gundam in general, and like it's obviously not continuing the UC, but this is retelling an alternate version of how Gundam came to be because it's a new kind of mobile suit. So that's interesting. Kira encounters childhood friend Athrun Zala among this squad, who berates Kira for not joining the cause of Coordinator Rebellion. The invaders make off with most of the mobile suits, save the Gundam Strike, which Kira commandeers to fight them off. Kira and his surviving friends join the crew of the Archangel, an Earth Alliance ship set to pursue those that wreaked havoc on their home. They experience betrayal, love, and the horrors of war on their journey, as is customary with Gundam. Well, it's a reset in the sense like G-Wing, X, etc. Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah. But I feel like with, especially with, actually Turn to Turn, I guess you said kind of ties into the original Gundam, so I guess that's not a good example, but I was thinking like, you know, Turn to Turn, where Gundam exists and they're not telling a story about how it came to be or anything. That's not really important, I don't think, in that series, whereas this one, it seems like that's kind of at this, it's called Turn A Gundam. Yeah, I know, it's because this song was Turn to Turn, so that's why it's in my head. It's interesting that some of these stories tell kind of like an origin story of Gundam, whereas others just use Gundam as something that exists and is used to tell a story, you know? So it's an interesting take that this one is one that tackles the origin of Gundam. Seeing this green bird in space that's very metal looking, like mechanical, I guess. I don't know, is it? No, is it? I can't tell if it's a real bird or not. It looks kind of like metally, but then that's because the thing around its neck. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what this represents. If this is maybe like what the ship that they're in looks like from the outside. I don't think it is though. Gotta be in space. I guess you know, birds, obviously I say this a lot in the channel. Anytime there's a bird in an opening, birds can represent freedom. Birds can represent, you know, being able to do whatever you want, go wherever you want, do whatever you want. You can fly there. There's nothing really stopping you. So then seeing a bird in space, there's obviously like these issues between the coordinators and the naturals. So I don't know if the bird, you know, that looks not exactly natural is kind of like metaphoric in the sense that, you know, the coordinators are genetically enhanced, so that's not a real bird, it's one that's actually like modified, you know. So maybe the bird's kind of telling us that little bit of story and that little bit of detail before we actually learn anything about the series. After the commercial failure of X, and unfortunately even Turn A, that's sad, Gundam was in a bad spot heading into the 2000s. Seed completely reversed this situation, was a huge success in Japan, reintroducing Gundam confidently into the new millennium. Its impact was so strong that, as an example, Seed received a sequel film, Gundam Seed Freedom, on this very year. And what do you know? It achieved the largest box office for any Gundam movie by several magnitudes. That's interesting. I would have thought that the highest grossing Gundam movie would have been Char's Counterattack. Like, that just seems like something everyone would have been scrambling to go see back when it released. I guess that's a huge testament to Seed and the success that it had, and for bringing people back to the franchise. That, you know, even recently a new film released and people scramble to get out their doors to go see this film. That is huge. That is badass, honestly, for this series, and I think that's really cool. This opening didn't have a whole lot of action. It did have its moments, but it was, well, actually, yeah, it did have quite a bit of action, but it was very much focused on typical, I guess, anime opening, where it just like focuses on characters who are staring at the screen looking away. Like, that's kind of the majority of this opening. It was very much just the characters. So I think that it was kind of interesting, because I feel like most of the other Gundam openings kind of showcase their characters in a stylistic sense, whereas this one was just straight up, here's a character, there's something going on in the background, probably related to their past. The franchise would be in a very different spot today without Seed, despite how much that might annoy quite a few fans to admit. I feel like a reason it succeeded so well is it captured teenage angst at that time very well. Therefore, going back to it now can be very aggravating experience for some. Also, you weren't joking that the series does treat MC Kira with a sort of Christ-like reverence, which has also rubbed some the wrong way. There it is. There he is. It's a very flashy opening. It's very colorful, and it definitely showcases the next era, the next generation of Gundam, and it does it very well. Sunrise done a great job here showcasing just like their bombastic, like, we're in the future now era of Gundam. Like, this is no longer old school Cell, this is digital, and we are here and we're not going anywhere, and it's badass. They did a great job with this, and the characters all look very unique and interesting, and I think that they've done a great job keeping that Gundam style and Gundam look while also moving into the new age. I guess, like, as well, you know, this kind of hair, like, I don't know as well if this makes sense, but the characters here that we see, the main character in the middle, and then the guy to his right, well, to his left, but on the right of the screen, it's reminding me, like, their styles and how they look almost Code Geass-esque. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm seeing there. Gundam Seed has some really cool looking Gundams here, Gundam suits, Gundam Mobile Suit Gundam, I don't know, like, but you know, it's kind of yet again like I remember in Turn A Gundam, it departed from that like real flashy, add wings, add big guns, add like all these extra features, and made it more stripped back. And I see that we're kind of reversing that yet again here by kind of making it the center focus again, where the Gundam are very flashy looking and look like if you were going to build these kits, it would take a long time. They look very difficult to build, but they look very cool. So it's definitely a return to that kind of style of Gundam. We saw that in openings like After War X and Fighter G, stuff like that, you know, where it had like these real big flashy designs for the Gundam. So I feel like that's kind of returned to this, and it's not bothering me at all. I hope that's not what it sounds like. I'm just commenting on what I'm noticing in this opening. Our main character here, I feel like we don't see him smile this entire opening, so I'm kind of wondering now if he is someone that is very serious. And also, right there's the guy we've been looking for. There's our Char stand-in. It's so brutally painful, or not brutally painful, brutally obvious that is our Char stand-in. The hair, the mask, yeah, there he is. I guess I forgot to look out for one, but we saw it here. So yeah, this is a really, really cool opening. I'm glad that we were able to check this out. Characters, you know, standing with guns in a war-torn battlefield, very Gundam. And yeah, that's really, I think, all I need to say about this one. I am now ready to move on to opening number 2. If we all are ready, I wonder if it's going to be more Gundam with 2.5. Don't we need to do 2 before we do 2.5? I will say before I move on to the next one, I do really like the concept of, you know, we've got these coordinators and naturals that, you know, the coordinators are genetically enhanced at birth, and then the naturals are just normal humans. And like this kind of spat that they have where they're, you know, fighting because, you know, the coordinators see themselves as better and the naturals don't really like that. So the fact that they've built these Gundam to kind of probably combat that is, it's really cool idea. Oh no, Kira is a coordinator. I thought it was the naturals that would have been the good guys that we'd be following. Like the naturals built the Gundam to fight back against the coordinators, but the coordinators are going to steal the Gundam. So that's really interesting. I wonder why they need the Gundams if, like, the mobile suits, if they are so superior. You know, they should be able to combat them. They should be able to fight them as they are. So, you know, maybe a little bit of an interesting take there. Oh, he's a natural from his... Oh, he's neutral from... Oh, okay. I see. That's pretty cool then. I really like the concept here, and I think shots like these showing a character standing with a gun, showcasing, you know, who are the naturals, who are the coordinators. I guess like it was kind of hard to tell unless, you know, you can kind of look into the characters by stopping and pausing on them, who might be what, like who's a natural, who's a coordinator, etc. They berate him for not joining them in the cause, of course. Yeah, well, being genetically superior doesn't mean you have to be an asshole to people who aren't, you know. So it's a really interesting take on the kind of idea of prejudice, I guess. So yeah, I think it would be a really cool concept, and I think it's probably fun to see that play out within the series itself, because it's a unique take on Gundam. It's something we haven't seen before. But yeah, let's move on to what Pinesino is labeling opening 2.5. Revive. Okay. Shaman King. That kind of threw me for a loop there. I was like, whoa, this doesn't look like Gundam. Oh shit, look at that hair. This is all hair. The anime right here. Characters look a little Digimon-esque, I guess. That hair is crazy. Oh my god, I can't tell what this anime is about. I'm trying to like figure out what I can figure out, and I've got nothing. Do they have like these spirits within them that they can manifest? Oh shit, okay. Revive a soul. Oh shit, it's another bird. It's a bird of light. Flying away. Oh shit. That right there felt very Soul Eater. I don't know why. That last little bit right there. This is Shaman King, released in 2001 by DAYBREAK'S, who in 2000 did the iconic rom-com Love Hina. Not familiar. Directed by Seiji Mizushima and based on the Shonen Jump classic by Hiroyuki Takei. Takei? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. Takei worked on the anime in its early stages, but eventually had to bow out due to the time constraints from also creating a weekly Jump manga. Oh, okay. Well, I think it's really interesting when you can kind of tell when the manga authors or the manga creators are kind of on board, because like a lot of times there's really faithful adaptations and then there's adaptations that aren't. So it's kind of like telling when someone's on board or not. The song is Oversoul by the Megumi Hayashibara, legendary voice actor known for both her roles and anime theme song performances. Her most well-known role that I would know would be, of course, Evangelion's Rei Ayanami. Oh shit, I would not have heard that in that voice whatsoever. That's really cool though. And therefore, I guess for her songs, it would be the 2 episodes endings where she sang Fly Me to the Moon. I would never have figured out that that's who that was. But yeah, I think it's really cool that, you know, voice actors, a lot of times in Japan, they're very talented singers. And, you know, a lot of times we'll hear them in openings as well. and they kill it every time. Like, they've got way more talent than I could ever wish to have, both being able to voice act and also, you know, sing as well. It's crazy, and you know, they're very talented people, and they deserve all the praise that they hopefully get when it comes to their work. Tokyo is about to unknowingly host the Shaman Fight, a tournament held every 500 years by Shaman to crown the all-powerful Shaman King. Little blob boy Manta befriends classmate Yo Asakura, since his sixth sense allows him to interact with Yo's spiritual buddies at the local cemetery. When Manta is assaulted by a local gang, Yo summons samurai ghost Amidamaru to beat them. Manta quickly becomes an ally of Yo, who seeks to win the Shaman Fight against his very, very evil twin brother, Hao. That's funny. I feel like when it's like evil twin brother, like it's just like silly and goofy to me. Like, it's just so silly. But yeah, this series didn't look like one that was super serious. It looked like one that's more fun than anything. And you know, the fights look very cool. The fights look pretty dynamic and interesting. Seeing the fact that, you know, they're able to, you know, manifest, I guess, ghosts. I saw someone like manifested a flail. So I don't know, like, in terms of like how that works, like they're able to manifest these spirits of things, or like legendary items or legendary figures. I don't know how that works, but it was very fun to kind of watch and try to figure out what was happening, because it was kind of all over the place to the point where it's hard to figure out. But like, it was really fun. I loved the song as well. It was really chill, actually. It was a really chill song. The logo's pretty fun too. Like, it's just very in your face. It looks very very surfer-esque. I don't know if that makes sense. He's a bit of an asshole, you say. You're talking about the twin brother. And you know, the designs as well, they look very simple, but at the same time they also look memorable. Like, they're very iconically simple, if that makes sense. Like, there's nothing really special about any of them. It's just kind of like simple looks. Yo's a pretty chill dude. Yeah, he manifests this big samurai dude, and then is this like a device that he puts on his arm? Huh, let me see. I'm gonna suss this out. Yeah, I can't tell. but I'm guessing that was the evil guy. Oh shit, Pompadour guy. Really, really cool looking characters, designs, and animation. It very much looks like an early 2000s anime. I think that the transition between cell to digital is obviously, you know, something that you can see. Like, you can look back on a lot of older anime around this time and kind of see the transitionary period, and this is definitely one that shows. Like, not to say that it looks bad, but you can see that this is a product of that transition period. Like many at the time, the second half goes in an anime original direction since the manga was still ongoing. Yeah, that makes sense. The original author Takai has since been critical of that decision, citing it as a decision from Shueisha rather than him. His relationship with the publisher would sour further as he was forced to end the series prematurely in 2004 before finally concluding it in a re-release several years later. No wonder that in 2017 it would be published in the rival Kodansha. That's crazy. He went from Shonen Jump to Kodansha. I mean, fair play. They kind of made him end the series prematurely. They forced him to, you know, take a sideline approach when it came to the anime that completely went in an original direction. He wasn't happy with it, so, you know, fair play. I think it was a good decision. Like, he did what was right by him, and, you know, I don't see any issue with it. You know, if there's bad blood, there's bad blood, and I don't think he can be faulted for it whatsoever. Acquired the rights to the series, which under Takai continues the series to this day. Oh shit, it's ongoing to this day under Kodansha? That's wild. The series would receive a more faithful yet less well received second anime starting in 2021. I had no idea there was a 2021 anime. I have heard of Shaman King before, but I have no familiarization with it whatsoever. The character designs I did mention earlier look a little Digimon-ish to me. I don't know if that's a fair comparison. I'm not saying that they look the exact same. It's just like that's what I kind of see when I see that style of character and appearance, and maybe even like animation style. I was unaware that there's a 2021, I guess, reboot, continuity. I don't know how that worked out, but yeah, this was a fun anime opening to check out. The song, like I said, very chill, very like wavy, I guess. Like there were highs and lows, but nothing really crazy. Shaman King is like for the early 2000s what Soul Eater is for the late 2000s. You see a lot of crossover. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Another thing, this big ass monster in the background looks like something you would see from Ben 10. But yeah, I think it's a cool concept. Obviously, a lot of anime, a lot of manga kind of have tournament arcs within their series. You know, I'm looking at you, Naruto, I'm looking at you, Hunter x Hunter. Like there's a lot of tournament arcs within these things, and to have a series that is focused on a tournament, you know, that's kind of like the whole premise of it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun idea. But at the same time, I hope it doesn't get boring, you know, just watching this tournament play out throughout the entire series. I hope it's not something that eventually becomes tiresome and kind of tedious. I hope it's something that, you know, continues to be fun and continues to be original. Really, really cool. Love the idea. I hope that fans of the series, fans of the manga are enjoying the continuity that is happening right now. And yeah, it's just really fun. The next entry is the 0.5 you mentioned. It's very much tied to this Shaman King opening. You'll see. We're going to check out 2.5 right now. Oh shit, okay. This sounds very like 80s, I don't know. Is this like 4Kids or something? To be Shaman King. This is fun. Could be the one. It's using a lot of the same visuals, so yeah. But it also shows a lot more action than the previous one. That was fun. Shaman King. That was a fun little opening for sure. This is the 4Kids opening for Shaman King, aka my opening theme for Shaman King. Titled simply Shaman King and produced by John Siegler, who did other 4Kids openings including Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Compared to their other works, the 4Kids dub was lighter in terms of editing, since death and ghosts were such central aspects of the show that they couldn't shy away from them. In fact, concerned media execs and moral guardian complaints about Shaman King would lead to their more drastic tackling of One Piece. That is so sad. You try to watch both the original subbed version of Shaman King and also the new series from 2021, but damn, they just aren't the same in your head without this opening. Shit popped off on Jetix and Sonic X and the like. That like Shaman King sort of sound like definitely has that like Pokemon sort of, you know, similar sound to it, I guess. So it's definitely, you can hear similarities there. It also looks very much like they edited the hell out of this opening to showcase a lot more of the fights, a lot more of the action, opposed to just kind of focusing on characters and introducing them, etc. So, you know, it's a really fun opening. You know, there are a lot of same shots, a lot of similar shots, and a lot of the same things that we do see in the previous one. But 4Kids, obviously, they want to market it to an American audience. They want to market it to American kids who just want to see like bright, flashy things, and you know, a great way to showcase that is, you know, action. You know, these kids were watching Pokemon, these kids were watching Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, it's all this stuff where it definitely has that same kind of edit style and same kind of look and sound to it as those openings that were just mentioned. There's no chilling under trees. We're out here swinging swords, absolutely. Obviously, Pine's over here saying like this is his Shaman King opening, but you know, you mentioned the Yu-Gi-Oh opening, the Pokemon opening. I feel like this one kind of falls a little short in my mind of iconic status. I don't know if that's just because I had never heard it prior to this. I'm sure that you find it iconic. I'm sure that others find it iconic, but you know, you can't beat that gotta catch 'em all. You can't beat that it's time to do, you know, like those are just so unique in their own sense. This one's cool as well. I really did enjoy this one. I'm glad we were able to check this out. It's a very fun break from the openings. This was obviously very different from anything else I've checked out in the channel. This is an opening, a done opening for an American audience, you know, so it was very different, very cool. I'm really glad we were able to check this out today. It was very fun, flashy, very bright, very colorful. The song itself was obviously very cool. It had that it had a cool sound to it, and it's definitely something that, you know, you could hear kids singing, you know, at school. You could just hear them like Shaman King, like you could just, I could just hear it, like I can picture it. And yeah, I think that they did a great job here. They absolutely killed it. So Shaman King had two great openings, one official and one for kids. So yeah, I think we're now ready to move on to official opening number 3 for this video. Primary school core, absolutely. Elementary school, I guess, if you're American. I think that's what they call it, right? Here we go. What we get? Oh shit. Okay, is this Seed again? Does that look like this? Yeah, it is. Okay. Gundam Seed. Destiny. Never mind. This is very, like, very techno. Yo, go cover up. What the hell? Is that like hair on the Gundam? Okay, this text looks very, very Evangelion. What the hell? Oh, and they're just showing us the names of the Gundam. That's cool. Makes it easier to go buy a kit, I guess. Oh shit, okay. The guns. The bright flashy colors. Oh shit, that's a big ass sword. Look at those wings. So those two seem to have a very tied fate to one another. Like tied destinies. Seed destiny, you could say. Hell yeah. And that was Seed Destiny. This is Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny, released in 2004 by Sunrise. Still directed by Mitsuo Fukuda, but only the outline of the story by Chiaki Murasawa. She came down with a severe illness after Seed's production ended, therefore the day-to-day writing was handed off to Sunrise staff. The song is ignited once again by TM Revolution. TM Revolution did a great job with both these openings, and this one sounded very techno hyper pop-ish, which I think kind of matched like what I was saying. It definitely fit the visuals, the chaotic visuals, the chaotic action that I was seeing in this opening. Everything looked very fast paced. Everything was very fast paced, and everything was going at breakneck pace in the opening, the song, the visuals. So definitely very well paired together, and TM Revolution provided another banger, absolutely. I hope that despite the fact that Chiaki Murasawa didn't work on this one as much, you know, it still has that same feel to it, and it still captures the essence of Seed, and I hope that it doesn't feel like a drastic change and a drastic departure from that kind of style. I hope that it's still kind of like you can pick it up and tell that it's the same thing. During one of many battles in Seed, Shin Asuka's family is obliterated in the crossfire. That's insane. He blames the Earth Naturals for this, joins Zaft, and rises the ranks to pilot the new mobile suit prototype Impulse. In the ensuing 2 years of uneasy peace, Atherin Zala has worked to keep tension from overflowing, but is drawn back into the employ of Zaft. He hopes to diminish Zaft's extreme nature from within before the inevitable conflict, namely taking on a mentor role to tame the rage of Shin. Interesting. So are the Naturals not the good guys here? Like, I'm so confused what's happening here. Like, who are the good guys in this in Seed, and who are the bad guys? Are there like, is it kind of a commentary on the fact that in war, like there's no good guys, there's no bad guys, there's just like everyone's at war, and there it's whoever wins that's kind of gets to tell the story. But it's a really cool idea to have the series focus around a character who was kind of like a casualty of the war. There were casualties, and it was his family that was taken out in the crossfires by these Gundam, and so it's really cool that they kind of tackle the idea that you are going to follow this guy who in the previous series we might have been against because he's on the other side, but this time we're following him and we feel sorry for him because of everything he's been through and the fact that his family was taken out, without prejudice, I guess, because of the war. Gundam is great a lot of the times, even all the way back to 0079. Yeah, of course. But I think that it's interesting that within the same series for Gundam Seed, it kind of plays with the idea of following both sides, opposed to taking the stance of following one side, and then you get to learn more about the other side. It kind of like, if you want to call this like season 2 of Seed, they kind of pull a reverse Uno card on you and have you following the other side, which I think is a really cool idea. I think that's badass, and I'd be really down for that because you kind of get this other side entirely. You get to learn about these other characters, you get to get this insight into like the way they think and the way they act and why they are the way they are, why they do the things they do. And that's really cool because now we're following the side of the there's a dog barking outside. Now we get to follow the side of the coordinators. That's just cool. Like we get to actually follow the coordinators, the genetically enhanced people of this in this series, and that's something we maybe didn't see in the previous one. So well, actually that's a lie. Our main character was a coordinator in the previous one, but you know what I mean. Like this time we're entirely on that side. Who is Shin Asuka then? Like, is that the Red Eyes boy? Oh, okay, so he's Shin Asuka. So this is Shin Asuka and a girl. So they're obviously very tied to one another. Their destinies, if you will, are linked. They're fated, whatever. I don't know if showing them naked kind of represents like bearing themselves, bearing everything that they are everything they have to one another, leaving nothing like unseen, or if it's not as deep and it's just kind of a cool visual. But I don't know why I thought this was the same main character from Seed. So the fact we don't see him at all in this opening, I don't think, has me worried that maybe he is no longer with us. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Breaking through barriers. Yeah, breaking through barriers. Yeah, like bearing themselves to one another. Absolutely. Seeing the designs here again, seeing characters with guns. It's pretty funny in a series where you get all these big ass mechs. Characters just pull out pistols. It's just pretty funny. You think he's in there for a second. Oh, okay. Okay, there he is. Okay, so now he's naked and exposed to this girl, and they're doing the exact same thing. So it's kind of this parallel between the two couples, the two like dynamics. Well, yeah, you say there's our Lord and the shining rays of light behind him, kind of like emanating right behind him to showcase that. That's pretty funny. This is a direct sequel to Seed, and in Japan kept the commercial and critical success going. These days, among at least the English-speaking audience I'd be familiar with, it has a bit of a worse reputation than Seed. You'll admit most of the critiques, but a big one is actually Shin. Despite a sympathetic backstory, he can really get on the nerves. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I was not aware. I thought that with a backstory like that, he's someone that you could really rally behind and actually feel sorry for and want to see actually succeed, despite the fact that that means going against the characters we grew to love in the first series. So yeah, I guess I could see the frustrations then, but it's a shame. And also, like, here again we get to see the two of them looking out at one another. It's really nice to see beam sabers back. I feel like we definitely saw those in other openings, but it's just seeing like this kind of like crackling light going off as they collide, just it's reminding me of like the original Gundam openings, like the first few, and it's just really cool. I love that look of the beam sabers just smashing and then these sparks flying. Like, it's just a really cool visual, and I'm glad that we're able to see that continue into like modern day Gundam, like 2004 Gundam. Also, Gundam designs yet again badass. I love the colors. Continue the red, white, and blue look. And they have like the same little flares that make them so recognizably Gundam. And yeah, that's honestly like badass. You'll say that when you went to see Freedom in the cinema earlier this year, there's a scene where Shin yaps about something, and then both the Seed main characters, Kira and Athrun, just punch him in the face. Me and the 4 other people in there marked out hard for that moment. That's really funny. So that obviously goes to show that the writers for the film themselves are aware of the fan frustrations of Shin and how, like, they get fed up and frustrated with him, and they just kind of had that little fan service kind of moment where they just like did that for the fans, and they were like, yep, we see you, we understand, here you go. Unfortunately, the Freedom film was initially meant for release in 2006 to follow up Seed Destiny, but was continually postponed by writer Morisawa's health, who tragically passed away in 2016. That's awful. Production restarted a few years later and would be finished under the direction of Mitsuo Fukuda, giving the screenplay credit to both him and his late wife. That's beautiful. That's really, really nice. This gives the film a whole other layer of meaning. There's a lot of love all over it. Yeah, I think that it's obviously, like, I mentioned it during, I think it was 8th MS Team, that the original director sadly passed away during the production of it. I did say during that it's always really sad when a creator passes before their creation can be fully realized. Obviously, the loss of any life is really sad, but especially for like creators who have like this obvious knack for creation and like this love for a series, and they've got fans, people who are rooting for them and want to see their ideas fully realized. It's really, really sad when those ideas are never fully realized under their eye, under their care, and so you don't get that finished product. And so like it's nice though to learn in this instance that Fukuda was able to actually take the idea for the movie and actually produce it, giving credits to his dearly loved and recently passed wife. It's really nice that he was able to actually do that. That's honestly a really beautiful thing. Also, on that big sword pose, that's typically referred to as the Obari stance. You see that all over mecha series. Is there a meaning behind Obari? Is that like the name of a director, the name of a character, the name of a mecha, or anything like that? Because yeah, it's just a really cool shot, and I do love this kind of shot, and you do see it a lot actually. Oh, that's the animator. Okay, I see. To that point, Obari pipes up on Twitter annoyed about how many times it's done. That's really funny. He's just like, yo, I did this shot and it was badass and everyone loved it, but that doesn't mean everyone needs to do it. That's like if so obviously Akira, I don't know if the Akira slide is in the manga or if that's just something that was made up for the anime, but that's like if that guy was to pipe up and be like, yo, why is this shit done so much? It's really annoying. It's that same sort of wavelength. Because the Akira slide has far transcended the medium, and this kind of shot right here, I feel like it's also transcended the mecha medium as well. Like, this is the kind of shot you see everywhere. Like, it's not exactly unique to mecha series anymore. Obviously, you kind of need mecha to have it look this exact way, but it's something that you would see fairly often elsewhere. So yeah, really, really badass, cool, in your face. I think it's really funny. Holy shit! Is that a Zaku? Is that what they were called? The Zeon's Gundam kind of styles? Like this looks exactly like Char's, no? Like this is very, very similar to Char's Zaku that he has in Char's counterattack. Oh, I didn't even realize it says Zaku at the bottom. Okay, yeah. Call me a fraud for pretending I was pulling that out of my brain from remembering, but I genuinely didn't read the bottom text. I saw the design of the mecha and I was just like, holy shit, is that this? But yeah, it looks exactly like Char's mecha, only, with more things. Like, I don't think he had the spikes. I don't think he had a big battle axe. So yeah, it's just really cool. I'm glad that you get to see that continue. What's really throwing me in these openings is the hair colors. Like right there, it's very vibrant and glossy looking, and it's kind of very different and not what I'm used to seeing in these Gundam openings, especially when I'm thinking about the older ones. It definitely makes it feel a lot more modern, and it like kind of changes how the whole thing looks a little. But you know, that's not a complaint. It's just like something I've noticed, and it's really throwing me off. Like all these different hairs, like the gloss that they all have. Also, is this a throwback to Zeta? Wait, that's Zeta. Like that's what this is reminding me of anyway. So yeah, this was a very fun opening. I think. Oh shit! There's the Mecha Bird. The Mecha Bird is back. The Mecha Bird is a thing. It's not just in the first opening. It's actually a thing in the series itself. So I guess the fact that it's perched here kind of maybe tells you what you need to know about this character. You know, it's not flying free. It's stationed. It's stuck in one place, and it's on this guy right here who's obviously very down in the dumps and very depressed. So is this our Lord and Savior, or is this Shin? I can't tell because the characters look similar with their hair and faces. It's really just the eyes, but I can't tell from the eyes who's who here because of the lighting. So yeah, I can't tell who it's trying to tell us here isn't free and isn't like really flying free. If that's kind of what this is trying to tell us, this shot. The guy in the background looks like he hasn't slept in years. That's Hirai's designs. That's funny. The look of the characters as well, like the long legs, the long kind of lanky looks to them. I can't help but think that this looks very Clamp. You know, like I did mention in the first seed opening that it was reminding me of Code Geass. I'm seeing it again here. Everything just looks not exactly Code Geass, but like, you know, it's making me think of that. And I don't know if that's, again, a product of the time or if that's kind of the style that they were going for here. I think it's cool that we get to see the characters return. I think it's cool that we get to see another seed opening. And, you know, like all great Gundam series, they have 2 openings. Clamp was very influential back then. And I think it's really funny as well because this looks exactly like the kits that I've seen where they have like the writing across the kits if you go to buy them. So I think that it's obviously very in your face that they're just like, hey, you want to buy this kit? Here's the name. Here's the character name who pilots it. Go buy it right now. I think that's pretty funny. Also, another Zaku here with the spiky shield again. I don't know if that's something that the Zaku had in the older anime, like the 1979 anime, going on towards like the 80s. I'm not sure if they also had that trait and had that feature, but from the few Zaku that I paused on here, I'm pretty sure they've all had that. So that's an interesting design trait that we see here. But yeah, other than that, I think I might be ready to move on to the next one. Again, a fun opening. TM Revolution smacked it out of the park again. And let's check out opening number 4. Dot Hack! Okay, this is later 2000s because it's full screen. Very in your face, grabs your attention immediately. Look at that dancing. Looks like it says hi on her head. This is very, I want to say trippy, but not exactly trippy. Just can't think of the right word. Ring. Baby's being born. This is a trip for sure. Child is born. Kissing my headache. The Shining. This is crazy. I have no idea what's happening here. This looks very virtual reality isekai, I guess. Oh shit. Oh my god, that was a cool shot. Oh shit. That's a badass final shot right there. This is dot hack sign. Okay. I'm glad I read the second line before I started reading it like a dumbass. Dot hack sign released in 2002 by B Train, directed and written by Koichi Mashimo. Character designs by Yoshiyuki Sadamoto, who did Evangelion Fulikuli, etc. Yeah, I was going to say the character designs look very familiar, but I couldn't place it. That just goes to show how just much of an idiot I am, because the character designs are so obviously, you know, Yoshiyuki Sadamoto. They have that exact Evangelion look to them. But yeah, I'm just really bad at placing literally anything. Music by the Yuki Kaijura. Practically everything from modern Ufotable. I don't know how to pronounce that actually. Demon Slayer, Fate, etc. Also Madoka Magica. The song is Obsession by Seesaw. Vocalist Chiaki Ishikawa, who did Bokurado's opening. Yuki Kaijura on backing vocals. Keyboard and song composition. Banger song. Yeah, this one was a banger, but this one was also very trippy. Like it reminds me of, like, obviously this is 2000s, so like it's obviously going to remind me of other stuff from the 2000s, but it's reminding me of specifically something like a Ghost in the Shell standalone complex opening, where it has this kind of like, I want to say like techno sound that's kind of being done to sound a certain way, where it's got like these heavy layers of kind of like glitchy effect, kind of just like thumpy sounds all over the place. It just makes sense in my head that it has a similar sound to that. Same year as Ghost in the Shell too. Interesting. I love the character designs by Sadamoto. I think one of my favorite character designers in the game, honestly. Even though, you know, you could pause in any of these shots and be like, oh well, that just looks like Evangelion or whatever. Like, it's, who cares? It's badass. It's cool. This right here, this looks like the carpet print or the carpet design in The Shining. Only it doesn't have like the red inside the middle of it. Amnesiac Tsukasa wakes up. How can he wake up if he's amnesiac? Wait, no, that's not what amnesiac means. That's insomniac. Okay, forget what I was saying. Amnesiac Tsukasa wakes up in an immersive MMORPG called The World that he cannot log out from. Hunted by a group called the Crimson Knights that accuse him of being a hacker, Tsukasa eventually encounters an item that takes the form of a guardian that pledges to protect him from harm, allowing him to safely integrate himself with the world. Other players ally with Tsukasa in an effort to figure out why he can't log out and to stop his problem from potentially spreading to others. Okay, so I was kind of right when I was like, oh, this looks like a virtual reality isekai. It makes sense, you know, dot hack sign. Like, it's got hack in the title. It's got like dot hack sign, you know, slashes all over it. Looks like something you would see in a web URL or something. So it's very much got like internet culture kind of written all over it. So it probably is a huge inspiration for a lot of series that will come later, namely Sword Art Online. You've got Log Horizon, you've got Overlord. You know, it very much feels like this was maybe probably the series that went on to inspire so many of those other series. Reki Kawahara, the eventual writer of Sword Art Online, was a fan. That makes sense, because this feels like what inspired that. You know, this has a very unique style and unique look to it. This feels like it's an original idea. And then Sword Art Online, I haven't seen anything about it really, but from what I know about Sword Art Online, it's kind of just like taking the ideas and the genre of isekai and just like putting its own spin on it. So it feels like this was probably the originator, like the original idea which spawned all these other I don't want to say knockoffs, because I don't mean it in a knockoff sense, but you know what I mean, like these other series that were inspired by it. This anime was launched as part of a mixed media franchise created by game developers CyberConnect 2, those Naruto Ultimate Ninja and JoJo Arena Fighter games. That's wild. I never would have been able to figure that one out. And publisher Bandai Namco. The anime was the first entry in the series, with then 4 games becoming the .hack infection that released in the following months. It was inspired to include .hack in the set due to the new FF11 Alliance raid in Final... Oh, you were... Okay, I read that wrong. You were inspired to include the new Final Fantasy 11 Alliance raid in Final Fantasy 14, since it calls back to the same era of early 2000s MMOs. That's really fun. I'm glad that was kind of like the idea behind it. Like you had an idea and that was it. I think that this feels like it's probably a time capsule, if that makes sense. Like this series encapsulates that kind of culture in a bottle, and it's like looking back on ancient times almost for like people nowadays who are playing MMOs like Final Fantasy 14 or anything that's very modern, opposed to, you know, people who were playing games like this, you know, that are represented in this series. I'm sure that it's definitely something that's very interesting to look back on, especially for people who were familiar with that era of gaming and that era of MMOs and etc. Whereas for people like me who aren't familiar with that era, this is probably jarring, I guess, because it's not what I know. It's nothing like I know. It's very, very different and very much a product of the time that it was created in. I do love the premise as well. Like it's a very simple premise. You know, guy wakes up, he's an amnesiac, and he's in an MMO that he cannot log out of. It's a really cool, simple premise, but I think that the stakes are really cool because, you know, his life is in danger. You know, anyone could come along and just kill him. Like, he has to be protected, and people do protect him, and I think that's really cool. I think that, you know, the cast of characters in this looked really interesting. I love all the different shots that we see throughout. Like, we see shots right here where characters are kind of fading away, and then someone like bursts through that. It's a really, really cool visual, and I think that it's kind of honestly sick to watch. I'm still waiting for it to happen here, but it's going to happen like very soon. Here it comes. All right, so here we go, and then just burst through. Like that's so cool. And then we see, you know, the character that we saw at the very beginning of the opening. So I don't know who this character is that we see on screen right now, but they look to be very different from the other characters. The other characters we saw looked very action oriented. Like, you know, they had swords, they had all these like weapons and stuff, and they were like they looked like they were going to fight. This one, honestly, I don't know what this one looks like, so I don't know if they're a special character, if there's anything, you know, interesting or unique about this character in particular. It's like the way that she's flying around, it's reminding me of Belle, the movie that came out a few years back. Don't know why it's reminding me of Belle, but I guess that's what I'm thinking of when I see this shot right here, especially with the city in the background. Really, really fun, badass, thumpy, in-your-face song. I did really love it. I think it fit the kind of style of this opening and the story and everything I learned about this opening, and especially the genre that it falls into. It fits it very perfectly. I think that it's probably a really, really fun series to check out for anyone who's a fan of it. But yeah, I think I'm now ready to check out opening number 5. What's going to be another Gundam mayhap? King Gainer. Okay, Overman King Gainer. Oh shit, that's a cool ass shot. I couldn't tell at the start if it was a person or a mecha, so that's pretty badass. These designs look fun. Character designs. Oh, look at them looking up, they're so proud. Metal fire. That's a tiny ass pistol. Full metal coat. There's a lot of full metals in the 2000s, weren't there? This is fun. What is that thing? Why is it dancing? I don't want to see that. Oh shit. Okay. So is that King Geiner? It's like a little alien thing. Dancing in the opening? It's fun. They pilot that thing? What the hell? That kind of looked creepy. Dancing. Everyone do the dance. I have no space to do it, so I can't do it. Hell yeah. This is Overman King Geiner, released in 2002 by Sunrise, the same season as Gundam Seed, funnily enough directed by the one and only Yoshiki. This is Tomino! What? Written by Ichiro Ukuchi, who did Rashomon, Code Geass, Devilman Crybaby, Witch from Mercury, the Spy Family movie, even Kaiju number 8 earlier this year. Holy shit, this man's resume is stacked. I say it's stacked and he's working alongside Kill 'Em All Tomino. Like, you know, who's got the more stacked resume here? And character designs from Kinu Nishimura, who did a lot of 90s Capcom fighting games designs, Street Fighters 2-4, and Kenichi Yoshida, who did Eureka 7. Eureka 7 mentioned Mish. The song is King Geiner Over by Yoshiki Fukuyama, a member of Jam Project. I am familiar with Jam Project at this point. They have so many bangers under their belt, and this is yet another one. I did mention when we checked out the Shin Mazinger opening, I was like, damn, I hope we get to check out more Jam Project openings, because they just bring the heat every time. They're so fun to check out, and this was another insanely fun one. I did not recognize this was a member of Jam Project, but I think that it's really fun that this was. Environmental catastrophe has led humanity to live in domed cities, though many years later some radicals ponder if resettlement in the outside world is possible. Seemingly normal teenager Geiner Sanga is initially not one such an individual, but is instead a pro gamer who has earned the title King Geiner. Holy shit, he's a king. He's the king of gaming. He's badass. So the premise that you've laid out, it's very Gurren Lagann-esque, no? Isn't that just essentially a very similar premise to Gurren Lagann, where humanity dwells underground, etc.? This series, he says, it's environmental catastrophe, whereas Gurren Lagann, it's invaders, like these, I can't remember what they're called, like these big beast alien things that have invaded Earth and pushed humanity underground. I guess you could also say, like, the environmental catastrophe thing, you could compare that to Nausicaa, where, you know, they live in these kind of like little specific areas and stuff because of the environmental issues that have happened, and the fact that humanity and Earth and a lot of the surrounding areas have almost essentially been wiped out because of everything. One day he is abruptly arrested for suspected involvement in the Exodus movement. Why? Why is he arrested? He's a king! They can't arrest a king! In confinement, he meets actual member of Exodus who breaks Geiner out and leads him to pilot the Overman. The advanced mech allows Geiner to put his gamer skills to the test, using it to aid a rebellion against the authorities that seek to keep humanity contained within the domes. It's domes and outside is like an ice world. In Gurren Lagann, it's underground and shit looks dry on the surface. Yeah, this is among the many other mecha series that Tomino directed, which we will get to eventually, outside of Gundam, yet still feel tangentially related in tone and feel. Contrary to his reputation for tragedy through Zeta and Victory, this series leans goofier like Double Zeta and is interested more in humanity grappling with its impact on the Earth's environment, like Turn A. Yeah, I think that this opening very much presented a very silly looking series, and like you did say, it leans towards the goofier side. I obviously felt that here, like the shots of them like doing, I don't know what this kind of dance is called, but it was just pure fun. It was anime opening silliness. It feels like something that you know, we see a lot nowadays in anime openings where we see like characters just dancing. Like, you know, I'm thinking of Mashal, I'm thinking of Dan Da Dan. There's just so many anime openings nowadays where there's just characters dancing at some point in it, and I think that it's really cool that we're getting to go back as far as, well, this is 2002, and see another opening that literally did exactly that. The idea that Tomino is the guy who directed this is absolutely insane to me, because obviously you did say that Double Zeta leans a little silly at times. There was a lot of levity in it. So the fact now that we're getting to see an opening which I don't know if it really has those same super dark tones, super dark themes, it's really, really curious to me that this is Tomino. I would never have pictured this was Tomino. I honestly would have named about 10 other mecha series that had a director before I would have named Tomino for Gundam. I think it's cool that we're going to be able to check out more Tomino directed openings in the future. I think that Gundam is obviously probably what he's most known for, but I think that it's really cool that he's been able to go on and do so many others. In fact, Seed was actually broadcast in 4:3. You showed me the HD remaster where they brought it up to widescreen, you think in the early 2010s. That's really cool. So it was actually Tomino that was ahead of the game, because this released the same season as Seed, no? The mecha itself looks like a very different. Like, it's an organic mecha, no? Like, we see this skeleton, and then we see it with flesh, I guess. And then we see it with a suit on, and then we see it with like the finalized, like final touches of the suit. So I don't know if that's kind of telling us that this mecha right here, it's not exactly it's not a mechanized mecha per se. It's more like an organic, natural mecha. I know this is a controversial like take, but like, if you want to do the argument of Attack on Titan being mecha because there's someone piloting it or controlling it, but you know, that's what this is reminding me of, I guess. Like, not exactly, but you know, we do see them going inside the belly of this mecha, and it's interesting because yeah, I can't tell, is this an organic mecha or not? I don't actually know. It's a fun idea. Like, it's really cool. I love the zipper. It's very playful, having a zipper opposed to like an opening that opens and closes. It's just a straight up zipper. If anything, it feels very this opening itself feels like it could have been, but at the same time I feel like this would have been in production before it released. But it feels kind of almost Fooly Cooly inspired, where it has like these silly little goofy ideas and they kind of just do them for fun. Tomino has been around since the Stone Age. He directed episodes of Astro Boy. Holy shit. Yo, this guy has been around and working on mecha anime since the OG original mecha anime. That is insane. I would never have known that. I love that though. That's really, really cool. I love that the guy who directed the some of the original mecha anime went on to create Gundam. That's so cool. That's badass. Like, honestly, that's one of the like most insane facts I've actually learned like in all of these reaction videos that I've done for like Gundam and all this other stuff. That's one of my favorite facts that I've just learned. You'll see if Tomino specific comments on Attack on Titan for another time. That's really funny, and I'm interested now to hear what he had to say about it. Miyazaki's another one. These are old heads that are still about. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, this was a really, really fun opening. I genuinely loved checking this opening out. I had an absolute blast with it. I think it's one of my favorite just fun openings that I've checked out in a while. The fact that this was Tomino just blew my mind. I love like this shot right here. It's so cool. Like this walking on ice with the sun behind him and the rays coming through him and causing this like lighting effect. It's a really, really cool shot. The design for the mecha as well is also very unique. I don't really know what else to say about it. The opening was very silly sounding at the beginning, like where it's just screaming the names, etc. And yeah, just pure fun, you're gonna have a good time when you're watching this kind of opening. And I hope that this is one that people enjoyed, because this looks like a very fun one, and this looks like one that, you know, could be very easily enjoyed by just about anyone. But I am now ready to move on to opening number 6, if we're ready. What's in store for us this time? Oh shit! Love the color and the framing of everything here. The way it's using like real imagery in like this really stylized form, like using negative. Trapeze. Never heard of it. This is this is very, very fun. Very colorful. Upside down. Very, very different from the rest of the openings we checked out today. Oh shit, not the umbrella. You're quite upside down. Sometimes you bring me down. Romance novelist. This is not what I was expecting. Chimp? What was the chimp? That was very different. This is Kuuchuu Buranko, or Welcome to Irabu's Office, released in 2009. 2009? Holy shit, we're just about knocking on the 2010s at that point. By Toei Animation, who did Ayakashi, Mononoke, and just a couple other little projects, I guess. Directed by Kenji Nakamura, who did Mononoke, character designs by Takashi Hashimoto, also Mononoke, and based on a short story series by Hideo Okuda. The song is Upside Down by Denki Groove, who did Devilman Crybaby. That's crazy. Man. Obviously, I don't think I could ever have like heard this song and been like, Devilman Crybaby. That's Devilman Crybaby right there. Yep, lock it in. I don't think anyone could have done that, surely, right? Unless you already knew the songs, unless you were already familiar. Like, there's no way you would pick those two out. They sound so completely different from one another. Obviously, you know, they both kind of have that techno sound to them. They both have that product of their time techno sounds. The strange Dr. Ichiro Irabu, alongside his cool nurse Megumi, operates as the resident psychiatrist Irabu General Hospital. Each episode sees the doctor treat a patient suffering from some form of psychological anguish that no other method seem to solve. What, so is this like House? Where everyone comes in and like they've got this really wacky, unique disease or something, or symptom that nobody else can figure out, and it's just some random bullshit. All patients at some point receive a vitamin shot administered by Megumi, which temporarily transform their heads to that of an animal in certain scenes. Irabu himself is perceived by patients to have 3 forms: a child in an oversized lab coat, a trendy young man, or an older gentleman wearing a green bear mask. This one's a bit on the weird side. You have said that all right. I was gonna say this sounds like something that nobody in their right mind could have conceived. I don't know who could have conceived this, honestly. This series has an incredibly innovative look to it that mixes traditional animation with rotoscoping, or just flat out live action footage with some light filtering. The nurse Megumi is in fact played by the model Yumi Sugimoto, who for a good portion of the runtime just appears in live action with a slight filter over her like this. I'll open the image in a second. It's a really striking work which continues on from the staff's previous work on Ayakashi and Mononoke. I was going to say, yeah, like, I think that it's really cool that we get to see that staff work in another project that is very experimental and very different and unique and have this very different style and look to it. I hope that that team at Toei is continuing to do works and, you know, didn't get shut down or closed or work on other stuff. Oh my god, yeah, no, that's it's like they just like took the character or took the actress and just like softened it like to the point that it looked almost like spray painted, I guess. Like they just did a lot of They just did a lot of softening on it. Like that's crazy. I do think that this one sounds like an absolute batshit insane series, and I'd be really, really interested to hear what people have to say about it. So you know, if you're someone who watched the series, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought about it, because this sounds like something that is just so batshit insane. I was gonna say the episodic format sounded like what I imagine Odd Taxi might be, but there's no chance, no shot in hell is this anything like Odd Taxi. There's no way. This sounds like a crazy wild ride, and I think that it would be a really fun one to check out. It's funny because while I was watching this opening, I was like, oh, it's using a lot of real life imagery, and then, you know, I learn in the blurb that the series itself uses a lot of real life imagery, and that's really funny then that the opening reflects that too. Let's see the... Oh my god, what the hell? What? Didn't you say it was an old man in a bear mask? A trendy young... or an older gentleman wearing a green bear mask. Yeah, that's... Oh, so all three of them wear a bear mask. Oh, okay. So that was the child in an oversized lab coat wearing a bear mask. I didn't realize that all of them wore the bear mask. I thought it was just the final one. That's like a combo of the kid and the older man. You never see the old man's face since he's wearing the mask all the time. I see. Only the older guy does. Gotcha. Interesting. This sounds like a real trippy ride. I think that this is something that definitely lives up to what I saw in the previous two openings that this team did, Ayakashi and Mononoke. This lives up and takes it, like, yeah, absolutely. Myself, I personally would have preferred to see more actual imagery, like shots from the series itself, though I think it was really cool that it did kind of tell me ahead of time that this is going to be a series that uses real life imagery, and it did it in a very flashy way. It had all these bright lights, very colorful sequences, and these filters going over everything, so it kind of does clue you into what the show is actually going to be like before you actually check it out, which is really cool. But at the same time, I would have liked to see a little more. Like, I'm picturing Ayakashi or Mononoke that do actually spend time in the openings showcasing characters, showcasing things that might happen in the series themselves. This one felt like it was just showing us shots. But, you know, it is really cool. I did still really enjoy it. It's just a shame that it didn't do a little more, I guess. They skimped out in the OP's visuals because they'd just go insane in the show. Yeah, no, I get that, and I think that's cool. Like, I love that in series like this where you see a lack of opening visuals, like it basically clues you in that if you were to watch this show, it would be insane. Yeah, which is typically the opposite. Yeah, they go all out in the opening, and then the budget for the show itself is a little lackluster. This one looks like a really wild time, really wild ride. I love the song a lot, actually. I think that it really hit the ground running. Like, it grabs your attention immediately, and it really just doesn't slow down. Denki Groove, I think this is the second opening I've actually ever checked out by them, but another banger. Loved it. It definitely fit the vibe of the show, where it was just kind of like really high energy. Like, the high energy definitely matches the intense colorful visuals. I wish I had more to say about this one, but there's not really much more to talk about. I did really enjoy it. I loved it a lot, actually. It was a really fun song. The visuals, again, I wish I got a little more, but that just goes to show that they really went all in for the show, and I think that this team deserves to work on more projects, and I hope that they are continuing to pump out bangers to this day. So yeah, I think now we are ready to move on to opening number 7. Gundam! We're back! We are so back. 00, right? Oh shit. This is reminding me of Wing, kinda. Those visuals right there. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, love the character designs. Looks like the similar designs as Seed, I guess. Yeah, I imagine it's the same character designer. Love this song as well. It's so different. Oh shit. Oh, there's the big V in the forehead. Badass. Taking it back to victory. Oh, the warhole. Oh shit! Look at those wings. Very cool looking. Keep beating the wings in my back. What did that say? Hang my hopes and dreams. Yeah, this one looks like it takes a darker tone again, which I'm so here for. Oh shit, that's a cool final shot. They look way different, that's wild. Do they? This is Mobile Suit Gundam 00, released in 2007 by Sunrise, in 2006 Kogeas and Gintama, directed by Seiji Mizushima, who did Shaman King, interesting, written by Yosuke Kuroda, who did Trigon, the MHA TV anime and movies. Character designs by Yun Kuga, Loveless, a popular boys love, is that? Or what's BL? Popular BL of the time, and music by the Kenji Kawai, Ghost in the Shell, Mob Psycho, Fate Stay Night, etc. The song is Daybreak's Bell by L'Arc en Ciel. A few big ones, but I haven't got to them yet in these playlists. Loveless, of course, Genesis is favorite stage play. This is very, very different from the rest of the anime openings that we checked out for Gundam today. Obviously, being a new series, a new project, it's going to take a different tone, but this one took a very, very somber tone, I guess. Like, it plays a real somber kind of sound throughout the entire opening. It definitely sounds very, like, almost defeated, I guess, sound. Like, there's no sound of triumph, there's no sound of hype, there's no sound of getting you up there and getting you ready. Like, it just sounds almost like defeated and like we're just going to stay down here the entire opening, which I think is a really cool take for Gundam, because, you know, you're going to get different genres, different styles, different feelings, different everything from different iterations of Gundam. So it's cool that this one really just like showcase an entirely unique look and feel. In 2307 AD, holy shit, humanity. Funny enough, I was going to say, like, the shot right here looks almost like modern day-ish, where, you know, we see this city in the background. So that's really funny. I should have said it. Humanity's complete depletion of the world's fossil fuels is what it took to finally look into solar power as a primary energy source. 3 superpowers hoard these resources, leaving minor states to fall into extreme poverty and war to take what they can. Setsuna F. Sei comes from the background, and is a member of the paramilitary group Celestial Being, fighting as one of the 4 piloting their advanced Gundam units to stop the endless state of war. So yeah, this seems to be another series, yet again, that doesn't tell an origin story for Gundam. They're just there, they're a weapon, and there's something that are used. So I think that's really cool that we get all these different iterations. And yeah, this definitely looks the most modern, obviously, that we checked out so far, not just because of the animation, but also like the character designs, the cities, everything in the background just looks much more modern than anything I guess we've seen before. All these different shots of, you know, characters, we get different shots of the Gundam with them right next to each other. It's really telling that this is going to be a series that, you know, has all these different ideas thrown around, like the character building, the lore, and also, you know, the Gundam themselves. They're going to play a part. Like, I don't think what I just said makes sense, but it makes sense in my head. The designs are really, really cool. I love the song as well. It definitely, like, it sounds so different. I love the shots like this, showing like a single lone flower in a battlefield, like an area that's been destroyed by war. We see our main character perhaps, right in front of the flower. And, you know, he's looking very sad, depressed. He's like holding the gun, looking down, very upset, and just kind of clinging. Like I was saying, the shot here where, you know, he's sitting, like the focus is on the flower, the single flower blooming in this battlefield, and then it goes out of focus and we see this character sitting in the background gripping a gun, kind of like he's, you know, he just looks really upset and frustrated and like a product of the war. And it's, you know, like he's probably like symbolic of this flower, you know, like this single flower, like amidst all the war and amidst everything, he's like this little ray of light, the light that's coming shining in, and he's like this little flower that's struggling to bloom, I guess. Like he just needs a little bit of nourishment to push him on. I feel like that's maybe what this is telling us. Double O aired right after most of Code Geass's first season, and then alternated with it where Code Geass's second season began after Double O's first season finale. Then a second season of Double O began upon Code Geass's conclusion. Between them, I'd certainly say Double O is the far more restrained of the two. If there was a most UC-like non-UC series, Double O is perceived as it, and therefore is generally recommended as a good, more modern means of introducing new fans. Yeah, funny enough, I was going to say, this definitely felt like an older school Gundam opening. Like, I did mention while I was reacting to the opening itself that it looked very dark, miserable, and very depressing, and it definitely looked like it was tackling darker themes, which is something that I became aware of that Gundam tackles very much so during the UC. And so I think it's really cool that they go back to that after Seed, which seemingly didn't have as much of that from what I was able to glean from the openings themselves. Also continuing Gundam's fascination with Ireland. One of the 4 pilots is Irish himself, the one with the green shirt, and Gundam, of course. That's really funny. Though you wouldn't initially know it, since while his real name is Neil Delandy, he goes in public by the name Lock-On Stratos. Holy shit. Setsuna, real name Soran Ibrahim, himself is from what would be Kurdistan, northern Iraq, eastern Turkey. Yeah, that's fun. I love when Ireland shows up in Gundam. It's really funny. Also, can we talk about this shot for a second? Holy shit. Like, seeing our guy, who is this? Is this Setsuna? Is this Setsuna right here? Like, just chilling on the chest of a Gundam. And then it pans out and we see that it's kind of like destroyed. Like, it's in the middle of this huge chasm. The shield looks all scratched up. The Gundam itself looks like it's been battered a little. So it just makes it look like the Gundam itself is part of, like, the landscape almost. Like, it's just embedded in there. I know it probably isn't, but that's just how it kind of appears. And also seeing how it just like looks so different from anything else, like it really stands out. It's very interesting to see that different like look where, you know, we see on the left side the absolute carnage and destruction, and then on the right side we see a Gundam. And I don't know if that's telling us that the Gundam helped cause that carnage and destruction, or if the Gundam was holding it back from the other side. I don't know which way to interpret that, but I feel like it's more so protecting from the other, like protecting the other side, because one, there's a shield there, and two, you know, there is a chasm, so like the destruction happens within that chasm. Obviously the city on the left is also destroyed and leveled, but I can't imagine the Gundam itself is responsible for that. They're both chilling after a fight. Yeah, it's really funny. I feel like Fighter G is probably the only Gundam entry to this point that has had the Rule of Cool robot mechs, opposed to like the rail mecha that Gundam not normally employs. But it is just cool seeing like the rail robot mecha styles play out throughout these different openings here that we're checking out today. Like, it's nice to see that Gundam is even still today like able to introduce new ideas and concepts but keep the same basic themes, like this similar things, I guess. I don't know what this burning city is about, because she's looking out towards a normal city and then it's burning, so it's obviously very foreboding and ominous. Also, like, I know Gundam always have the little like antenna, but like I feel like it hasn't been since Victory that they've connected in the middle. I feel like it's always just like branching out. No, it's not common that they actually connect in the middle. So it's a nice little callback to Victory in that sense, where it's like, here you go, it's kind of like new designs, but also a little bit of old thrown in there too. This is a very post-Iraq war series. They weren't shying away from the illusions. Well, I love that. I love that they actually tackle real life issues and don't hide away from things, because, you know, it's something that, like, these wars affect real people, like, and the fact then that we get to see those same wars play out. But obviously, like, it's not the same. You know, you got mecha in this here. Like, you know, you don't have actual Gundam in real life wars. But it's really nice to know that the animation studios actually don't hide away from tackling real life wars, real life issues. And I'm sure that that will continue for years to come. And, you know, that's really cool because, like, for, I guess, historians looking back at this era, you know, this could be an important piece of media that kind of depicts some of those kind of ideas, those kind of things. You know, like, you've got all this different media. I know there's different media that is not directly related to certain wars, but they take aspects, and so they're seen as important things. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, having a Middle Eastern protag is a bit radical in the 2000s. Yeah, radical, but cool. Like Hurt Locker. Would you kill me if I had said I'd never seen Hurt Locker? But yeah, I guess Hurt Locker as well is also like an important piece of media. Very important in the sense that it actually encapsulates that. There's just so many iconic shots in this opening. Like, holy shit, look at this Gundam just standing against this, like, sun. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, this opening might have some of the coolest visuals for sure, like some of the best symbolism as well. I don't know what this represents, but it's reminding me of End of Eva, the egg. I think that these wings as well obviously are probably not literal and are metaphoric, are some of the coolest looking wings that we've seen in Gundam. Like there was the butterfly wings as well that I was a really huge fan of. I think that was in Turn A Gundam. But these ones with the kind of like celestial galaxy kind of look to them, they just look so like insane. Like, I love it so much, and I think that it kind of it probably has symbolism, but I'm not able to pick it out, sadly. So I don't know really what it's representing. I don't know why it's called 00 either. Like, does that have meaning? I guess it's because it's going back to like 00 something. Is that why it's called? Well, actually, no, this is 2307. So I don't even know why it's called 00. It's not like it's 0079, 0083, 00 anything like that. It's literally its entirely own thing, 2307. So yeah, that's curious to me and interesting. This was a really, really fun opening because we're in the 00s. You're right! Holy shit! It's like 00, it's like Gundam starting in 0079. Oh my god, you're so right. How did I miss that? Fun opening. Like, visually anyway. The song itself was rather gloomy and depressing, but I loved it. It was so perfectly fitting. Visuals matching with the song perfectly, like most great Gundam openings do. And yeah, it's just another great like take on the box for Sunrise and ticking the box for Gundam in general. I think this one looks like a really interesting take on Gundam. I love that there's an Irish pilot. I love that there's an Irish Gundam, and I honestly I would love to check out the series one day. But yeah, that's going to do it for this opening. I'm going to move on to the next opening. Okay. Ooh. Let me be with you. Chobits. Big eyes. Are they singing? No. A lot of like glitchy effects in this, so is this some sort of techie related show too? Because it obviously looks very romance core. And these two are probably the main leads, I guess. Fall in love. A very cute opening. Just very much focuses on these two. I wonder if it'll show anything else. Right in the center of the screen, staring at each other. Let me be with you. Let me be with you. That was cute. That was a cute little opening. This anime pissed you off as a child? Why is that? So this is Chobits, released in 2002 by Madhouse. Okay. I guess I didn't realize it's Madhouse. Normally Madhouse, you know, you can just pick it out immediately. In 2001 they did X. 2003 they did Technolize. It's directed by Morio Asaka, who did Cardcaptor Sakura, Nana, Yamada, and based on the manga by Clamp. Okay, yeah, okay, I can see the Clamp style. I didn't see it as prevalent in this as some of the others, I guess. Like, obviously, Kogias is a very prevalent Clamp style. I know there was, like, one other. I think it was X, right? X had a very prevalent Clamp style. I feel like this one didn't have it as much. The song is called Let Me Be With You by Roundtable featuring Nino. Welcome to the NHK. Okay. It's a very infamous earworm, so you're welcome for infecting you with it. Yeah, no, that's definitely going to be in my head now. No, I'm not saying it's not an obvious Clamp style. I'm just saying that it's not as Clamp style as, you know, something like X or Kogias, I guess. I don't know. So this was Chobits. Hideki Motosuwa is a struggling student trying to get into college. His poor background ensuring he has missed out on the latest trends. The latest of these is the Persocoms, PCs that have the appearance of humans. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense, because while I was watching this, I did say that it looked like it was romance with some sort of tech involved, because there was these glitchy effects, you know, the screen fizzles out. She's wearing these big, like, it looks like headphones, but they're like her ears. I don't know what they are, but they're big, like, implants in her head. And one evening, Hideki finds an abandoned Persocom with the appearance of a young girl. He manages to activate her at home, only to appear defective as she can only say the word Chi. Or if you're Kingdom Hearts fan, that would be Ki. This becoming her name, Chi cannot download info herself. Therefore, Hideki takes it upon himself to teach her about the world, all the while studying for his future in it. As is customary with anything Clamp related, romance is not far around the corner, with some problematic elements along the way. Noteworthy aspect of this series is that the male lead is the first notable main character role of beloved voice actor Tomokazu Sugita, who did Joseph Joestar, Gintoki, and soon-to-be Taro Sakamoto. This looked like a very interesting one. The opening itself was very, very romance driven, very romance heavy. You know, there was not really anything else in this opening other than the two characters existing separately and then bumping into each other and staring at each other as the lyrics on the screen tell us, fall in love. So obviously, you know, there's going to be some weird aspects of romance considering that this is a human falling in love with a robot. I don't know if that's kind of presented in a weird way or if she's being presented as human despite the fact she isn't. Like, I don't understand. Like, from what I've read here, I don't know myself the direct, like, implications of what makes them not human other than the fact that they're obviously built. Like, I don't know how they're presented. They're presented as these robots or if they're presented as humans, but I don't know. So I don't know if that's where the problematic romance aspects come from, the fact that she's not exactly human, so you know, she could be taken advantage of. This was a really, really cool opening for presenting these ideas that, you know, I was able to kind of pick out a little bit. Obviously I didn't, you know, figure out that she isn't human, but I could have maybe figured that out from the things in her ear. I would have compared this to dot hack sign or hack dot sign. I can't remember which. It kind of reminds me of that. Like, you see them with like these VR sets on. So I would have figured that this was kind of like some VR thing where he is a player and she is a character or something. That's what I would have gathered from this opening. The song is an absolute earworm. Like, just, yeah, that's going to be stuck in my head. Like, there's always that one song in every set of openings that I check out that just gets stuck in my head for the following few days. It's going to be playing in my head. It's going to be stuck in my head. My wife is going to come home from work tonight and be like, what the hell are you singing? And I'll be like, ba-ba, ba-ba. Obviously, I won't be able to sing the Japanese unless I actually like sit down and listen to it enough times. Considering it's romance, I don't know how romancy it is. I personally don't like the idea of human and robot if she is someone who obviously doesn't like, she's very much not there. Like, she has to be reprogrammed, she has to be taught a lot of stuff. I just don't want there to be this kind of like weird manipulation, taking advantage of situation. Obviously, I haven't seen the series. I don't know enough about it, but I'm not a fan personally of that kind of aspect of the series. But the song itself, huge earworm. I remember when we did check out the opening for Welcome to the NHK, that was also a really good one. I really enjoyed that one as well. So, it's fun that we're getting to check out yet another opening by Nino. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So, someone that I'd never heard of before. They produced two banger openings. And the coloration within both of these openings has been very similar, strangely enough. I feel like this one obviously, had the warm colors around them, and then the light and the background kind of like to make them stand out. So the warm colors around them probably representing like the warmth that they feel for one another, the light in the background just making them stand out. It's like a spotlight that's on them, staring at one another. Obviously these feelings develop, she's reaching out for him, and yeah, I let me be with you. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure then if this is a series that is presented like, yeah, I'm not sure how this would be presented, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The clamp artwork are very beautiful and detailed. I do really think that the clamp artwork style is very unique and very identifiable. Like, it's not something that you see very often nowadays anyway. It's not something that anyone else could really replicate. It's very unique, it's very cool, and I do like the styles. It's a little strange to me, who has never checked out anything clamp style, sometimes seeing like the faces, the way like the eyes are really far apart, big eyes, and like these kind of like shaped heads. It's nothing like I've personally ever seen before, so I don't actually like know how I would vibe with a series with this style if I was just sitting down to watch it. I'm sure like I would be fine with it. Like, I'm not someone who's really picky about stuff like that most of the time. I'm just there for what I'm seeing. I'm there for the story. I'm there for what it's presenting, rather than like to be nitpicky about designs. Like, designs are designs, they're presented the way that the creator wanted them to look. So clamp style looks great for that style. It's not the style I'm used to, so that's just what I'm trying to convey here. I'm not trying to shit on that style or anything. The detailing in the eyes itself themselves though are very like detailed, very intricate, and show that they spend a lot of time on these things, because the eyes in series like this with romance involved are very important. Like, if we go back to the 1970s, the eyes in like those, was it shoujo romance series, the eyes were huge, the eyes were very detailed, and the eyes told you a lot. And that's kind of like present here as well. Like, they really do put a lot of emphasis on the eyes, especially for the females. Like, he's just got normal ass eyes, which is funny enough. I wonder how the other human females are presented, if they're presented with the same kind of style, or if it's just really the robots, the Persicoms, that have this kind of like style. Like, I'm not really sure, but I'd be interested to find out. The opening itself, like I said, didn't really tell me a whole lot. It was a really fun opening. The song was really great. I did love the song. It's an absolute earworm. Nino, great job. It's going to be stuck in my head for a long time now, so great job on the opening. You love how her eyes are done so much. It's so pretty how it's gradient, including the eyelashes. Yeah, the eyelashes just blend in. It's a really cool design. Definitely gives it more of a non-human appearance by not having the actual like features of an eyeball. But we did see at the very beginning, she opens her eyes, they're wide, she kind of focuses her eye, and then they blend into this style. So I don't know if that's kind of telling us the whole human versus Persicom thing. In Japanese, PC is Pasicon, aka personal computer. So Persicon is similar. Oh, okay, that's fun. That's really cool. Is he able to just like ask her questions and she can answer them, or is he able to like how does that work? If it's a personal computer, like, do her eyes become like screens that he can read? Does she have like this weird morphing ability? Can she like change her body to have the appearance that he can like read her? Does she have like does she ever need like plugged in to be charged. With Chi, she specifically doesn't know shit. Yeah, no, I know that, but that's what I'm curious about the Perscoms, like how they work in general, what the idea of this series is. Do they actually have these features, or are they just like walking computers that, like, how are they computers? What can they do that is computer like, besides maybe answer questions? That's kind of like the only question I have now for the series. I do think it's a very cute one. Like, it looked very cute. The song was very cute. The opening was very cute, and everything was just pure cute about it. But yeah, I'm led with more questions than answers, because it really didn't show us a whole lot in this opening. It did kind of show us like that first meeting, perhaps, when they bump into one another and they just kind of stare at each other and fall in love, I guess. So yeah, that was interesting. But I think now we are maybe ready to move on to the second opening. Does Chobits mean anything? Does that word mean anything? I'll have to find out. I don't know. I tried to do some thinking. I couldn't think of anything. So if we're ready, we could move on to opening number 9. Interesting. Okay. I'm just gonna pay attention for a bit here. Higurashi. I don't know what that means. No Naku Koro ni? Very eerie. Like, this is giving like horror vibes. Who's that behind you? Yeah, this is definitely horror. Okay. But it doesn't have the style of a horror. I guess that's what makes it shocking. Why are you drinking blood? Is that your own blood? I really like the way the voice just shone through. If you have no place to return to? Not the butterfly! Damn it. The showcasing of flowers here is very interesting. Flowers represent, you know, beauty. Oh shit, what is that? Is that a big, like, cleaver? Like, what would you call that? Cannot turn back anywhere as she's staring out at a town. It's very, very ominous. Yeah, this was a crazy ominous opening. This one definitely had plenty of horror-ish aspects present throughout the entire thing. Higurashi, or When the Cicadas Cry, interesting title, okay, released in 2006 by the Studio Dean. More on them in sets to come. Interesting. I don't know if I'm familiar with Studio Dean at all. Directed by Chiaki Kon, who did Sailor Moon Crystal and Way of the House Husband. Sailor Moon Crystal was the one that wasn't perceived very well, correct? Scripted by Toshifumi Kawase. Apparently directed 20% of the episodes of Zeta and Double Zeta. Holy shit, okay, we're back. Character designs by Kyuta Sakai, who did the character designs on Steins Gate and ReZero. That's huge. That's a big name, surely, in the industry for character designs. Music by the Kenji Kawai, who did Ghost in the Shell, Double O, etc. And based on the visual novel by Ryukishi 07, the song is Higurashi no Naku Koro ni by Eiko Shimamiya. I definitely butchered a lot of that. I apologize. Often called just When They Cry in English. Nippa is just what that girl says often. In the summer of 83, Keiichi? How do I pronounce that name? Keiichi? It's the two I's that are throwing me off. I don't know how I should be pronouncing it. Is it just Keiichi? Keiichi? Okay, thank you. In the summer of 83, Keiichi Maibara moves to the small village of Hinamizawa and quickly finds himself with a group of inseparable schoolmates. The village's annual festival approaches as Keiichi begins to learn of a series of murders and disappearances over the past few years that may be connected to both it and the local folk god. Oyashiro. When Keiichi asks his new friends for answers, they become eerily silent, distant, and exhibit erratic behavior. Mysteries and horrors soon amount as Keiichi's paranoia and fears are realized and confronted. I think that it's really interesting that a series with this kind of style has horror. Like this series with the real beautiful flowers, it's got that kind of like, what's that effect? Kaleidoscope effect. Yeah, that's absolutely what it is. It's got a kaleidoscope effect, which, that's used a lot of times for like real trippy kind of imagery, or like real mind melty stuff. Like it's kind of used for that. So the fact that we're seeing flowers presented in this kind of kaleidoscope style, like kaleidoscope effect, really has me kind of questioning then what the purpose for that is. Kaleidoscopes, they're very colorful, very bright, and they normally are pretty beautiful to look at because of the different images and the way that they all move and interconnect, and everything looks is very, very visually stunning and very visually interesting to look at. So then doing that but with flowers, which flowers are beautiful, flowers bloom, and the flowers here are all different colors, all different styles, shapes, and different actual flowers themselves. I'm not entirely sure I understand what the connection between the show and these flowers are, whether it's showcasing this beauty, but behind everything, behind the kaleidoscope, there's actually horror, because once the flowers disappear, we do see like butterfly getting too close to the flame. We see like darkness opens up into more flowers blooming, and then we get this real dark, dirty, almost like logo, like with blood stains and blood drips, an infinity sign underneath it, probably to showcase that this horror continues and it doesn't end. Like, all these murders that have been happening, they don't end, they just continue. Like, nobody questions it. It's just a ritual. It's part of what happens here. I wonder if that's kind of what's being presented here, with the logo itself, with the blood streak being half of the infinity sign, is in like, this is just customary. This is just something that happens. As is customary, this adaptation doesn't fully adapt the breadth of the visual novel. However, it achieved great success despite this, to the point it received a full second season that completed the story, and then a whole slew of specials covering every other nook and cranny of the setting. That's a rarity in the visual novel to anime adaptation space. Even Ryukishi 07's other revered visual novel series, Umineko, didn't receive that treatment. The series stands to this day as one of anime's truly iconic horror series. It's cool. I really like the idea that they actually finished the entirety of the visual novel. The entire thing has been, you can find, I'm sure there's maybe parts of it that are scattered all over the place, and in like, it's kind of in like a scattershot order, chronology, in terms of release. But I really like that every aspect of the visual novel has actually been adapted into anime. I know that that's something that a couple of people in the comments for Steins Gate mentioned, the fact that it's a shame that, the anime, while being as popular as it is, didn't fully realize the true story, the true potential, and the full extent of the visual novel. That's why then it's really nice to hear that this one actually did the complete opposite and showcase the entire thing. The game is interesting because there's completely different stories, like different what ifs that you can play through. Steins Gate has done fine without that. Yeah, I know, but I'm just sharing. I like the aspect of choices mattering and choices being important, even if those are just presented in a what if format, and the true ending is its own thing, and there's one actual like proper ending. I do like being able to make decisions. I do like that they can make their own choices, and every player might have their own different outcomes by the end of it. Well, not every player, but I might have a different outcome from Pinecino. Pinecino might have a different outcome from, you might have a different outcome from Starry. There's everyone just might end up coming away with a different outcome, and I do like that. It's a reason why, despite the fact that they have done a lot of sinkers, I do generally like to check out some Telltale games every now and then. That choice aspect is just appealing to me, and that's coming from someone who hates to make choices. so yeah, that's funny. The whole horror aspect, it's very, very obvious, you know, just everything about it is very eerie. The song itself is very eerie and creepy. You know, there's these different sounds happening in the background. The singer's voice, let me hear it again. Like this chanting in the background. And then it's very quiet for the most part. Like it's really, you know, like there's no strong voice. It's just really in the background, while the real dirty drumming beat is just kind of like taking the forefront. It's really just running with things. And, you know, we're really hearing like this like real dirty sort of sound just to keep us feeling unsettled, while we're seeing some imagery that is presented beautifully. There is a lot of imagery that's really creepy. You know, the mask, I don't know what this kind of mask represents, whether it's related to the god that was mentioned or not, and then immediately showing flowers, and then someone walking across glass in their bare feet, with blood dripping down their head on their arm, and they're just like licking up the blood. I don't know if this is their own blood or if this is the blood of someone else that maybe has been killed, but she looks very nonchalant about it. She's looking like this is just kind of normal, like she's just kind of walking away, like I said, in her bare feet, like nothing happened, and just kind of like licking up the blood, like, yeah, this just it's everyday, bro, you know. Like visual novels having different roots is very common across a lot of big visual novels, by the way. Not unique to Higurashi. Yeah, no, I know that that's kind of like a popular trope or popular aspect of visual novels. The song is so good. Yeah, no, I really did love the song. It's got this real creepy vibe to it, but then, you know, the singer's voice did kind of shine through, like right there. Beautiful voice. It's really, really stunning, honestly. And it's, while it's showing this kind of interesting imagery, you know, we see what looks to be twins in a womb that, you know, are connected to one another. They're joined by the pinky, you know, they've made a promise to one another at some point, and they're just kind of like bared, exposed to one another. They're probably tied to one another, like their fates, their destinies, what happens is probably tied to one another, but I just can't quite figure out what that is. The hairs look actually the exact same, so is this just the same character but two different sides of the character, or is this literally twins? Like the you know, it's really giving me questions here. She's got on the left like this dark shadow over her back that looks almost like it could be like like a blade saw, like, you know, like the round circular blade with all the edges, or like some sort of intricate tattoo almost. I thought at first it was maybe her hair, but the hair wouldn't cast that kind of shadow, and then I was questioning why the shadow wasn't there for the one on the bottom right, but at the same time the one on the bottom right isn't against the light, so wouldn't have that shadow across its back from the hair. But it's really curious. Like, I think that this is probably, like I said, I don't know if it's literal twins or if this is kind of like someone who's got these split personalities, or that has these like two different personas, and they kind of just like split into them. Like, yeah, it's really, really curious to me that this immediately follows up the image of the girl. I presume it's the same girl. I don't see the hair quite enough to be able to tell. I think it's different characters. The one at the top left does not have the ribbon that the one in the bottom right has. I think it's different characters. So I can't quite see enough. But, you know, then the one on the left opens its eyes and looks out in the direction of where the other one would be, the other version of herself, the other twin. And what she sees is a butterfly with a broken wing. And it's not just broken like in half the wing, like they literally took the segments off the two different wings and had them next to each other, just to really symbolize that this character is not free. This character is tied down. They are grounded. So, you know, this character is one that, whether they themselves, I'm going to go with the theory that they have these two different personas. Yeah, I was also going to like point that out as well. You did mention Keiichi. I thought that was maybe her, but then while I was reading the blurb, you said he, so I thought it was curious that there's no actual guy in this opening. But, you know, she opens her eyes and looks out towards where the other version of herself would be, the version that, you know, had the back turned away from the light, and she sees this butterfly with broken wings. So the other version of herself is not free. The other version is tied down to fate, tied down to destiny, tied down to whatever has to happen, and she is kind of just looking at it with these remorseful eyes, looking kind of like, I don't have a choice in this. This is just what has to be. This is just what is happening. So that's a really, really interesting imagery that we see. She's kind of like looking real depressed, and then she gets angry, she gets pissed. Something has happened that's pissed her off. She ends up then just transitioning into more flowers. So the flowers then disappear, and we see a little baby version of herself surrounded by, you know, the light and all these flowers presented in an unnatural way, because, you know, she's kind of in this darkness. The only light is the flowers and the moon. I'm not really sure what to make of that, but then she cries in this field, and then we see, I don't know if it's her or if it's someone else, looking out towards then the town with this big ass knife. So I don't know if she's the killer or if she's someone who's out to get the killer. We will go back and check out the drop. Like, it really just, once that drop happens, it really just takes a real somber tone. Like, the real creepiness disappears, and we hear the piano keys come in with a melody to kind of bring it to some sort of uniformity and structure, I guess. But then that kind of disappears away again immediately. So it's like this little brief moment of beauty and little brief moment of structure within this opening that really just shines, and it's a real memorable part, and it makes this opening more special, that we get these kind of opposing ideas and opposing structures and all these different ideas present within this opening itself. I think now we are ready to check out the final opening. This was a really cool one to check out. It's a series that I'd never heard of before. I love the song so much. It was really cool one to check out. It had so many different ideas, and the visuals themselves told me a lot, which I enjoyed because I was able to start theorizing and kind of trying to analyze. So yeah, really cool one to check out. If we are ready, we are now going to check out the final opening for this video, which, if you guys didn't know, is going to be the final 2000's opening in this year that I will be uploading, I guess. So 2000's will return in 2025. That's really weird to say, but there will be no more 2000's anime opening playlist videos like this one until the new year. So this is the final opening for this year. I can't wait to check out what it's going to be. I hope you guys are excited. If you guys like the video, please leave a like, please leave a subscription if you enjoyed the video, and a comment letting me know what your favorite video or your favorite opening, I guess, was from this. Also, let me know what your favorite 2000's anime opening in general is that we might have checked out, or that we maybe haven't checked out yet, so that, you know, we can maybe check it out in the future. Who knows? And yeah, I'm just going to jump right into this final 2000's opening of the year. I cannot believe it. It's crazy that we've come this far. Okay. Like, for sacrificing something. Okay. The law of equivalent exchange. Really like the traditional like flute just in the background. Oh shit, okay. That's just a hard transition. All reaching up to God. Fullmetal Alchemist? Holy shit. I'll be honest, I did not expect this, but it's fun. Oh shit, okay. I really like, the singer's voice sounds so familiar. too much for my captivated heart to take. I love this, like, style. Like, I love the Fullmetal Alchemist character designs. She just woke up and she's like, like, I don't want to be awake right now. Oh shit, that's CG for the mountains? Oh shit, he looked like he was down to... He was gonna take no shit. Really like this opening, it's really fun. Oh, who's this? Oh shit, okay, they're not here to take any names. Walking through a dust storm by themselves? Aw, it's over? Aw. That was a really fun one. I really like that. This is Fullmetal Alchemist, released in 2003 by Bones, which earlier in 2003 they did Wolf's Rain. Holy shit. 2005 they did Eureka 7, and it is directed by Seiji Mizushima, who did Shaman King and Gundam 00. That's wild. I would never have imagined that the same person who directed Shaman King that we checked out earlier also directed Fullmetal Alchemist. That just seems so vastly different, but that's really cool. I'm glad that we're able to check this out today, the same day we checked out Shaman King, you know. Written by Sho Aikawa, who wrote Shaman King and Eureka 7. Character designs by Yoshiki Ito, who did the character designs in Soul Eater and several other Bones works, including the openings for Carol and Tuesday. And based on the shonen masterpiece by Hiromu Arakawa. Obviously, she's one of the iconic female manga writers of all time. Like, Fullmetal Alchemist being as widely popular and iconic and also just influential to this day. It's one of those series that I know nowadays there's other series, but I'm pretty sure during the 2000s and early 2010s, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I guess you would say, would have been the entry point for a lot of people into anime. You know, when they're checking out their first anime, like a lot of people would have said that Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 was? Okay, I guess I was wrong. I would have thought that Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood would have been that entry point. But no, that's really cool. And the song is Melissa by Porno Graffitti, who did who did the My Hero Academia first opening. Yeah, that's why it sounds so familiar, because I can hear the same like, hey, sort of things that he does with his voice. I don't know if that makes sense. But the cadences that he uses and the way he uses his voice sounds very similar. The songs are so vastly different, but yeah, no, I can now hear why I heard the same sound, where I was like, yeah, this singer's voice sounds so familiar to me. That's exactly why. Based on this track record for first openings for big shonen by works, Gachikuda's first opening will either be by Porno Graffitti or by TM Revolution. I hope so. I am so excited for Gachikuda. Edward Elric. In fact, you'll just leave it at that and abstain from a plot summary. Edward Elric. Or is it Elrich? Is it a hard or a soft sound for the C? I'm glad you're not giving me a plot summary for Fullmetal Alchemist, because I don't want to know anything about the series, because it's a series that I've had high on my priority list for years. Well, not on my priority list so much, but more so on my I want to check this out list. So it's a series that obviously means a lot to a lot of people. It's a very important and very influential and very huge series that I do want to check it out. The anime takes an alternate direction in its second half that was explicitly requested by Arakawa, who allowed Bones to create their story path and stated she enjoyed seeing where the staff went with the mysteries that she would resolve for years later in her own manga. She assisted Bones in filling in story gaps to reach the anime's end ending and give the characters an adequate amount of arc resolution. Her involvement being so extensive that she fell behind on cover illustrations for the manga. That's really funny. Viewers, tell them to watch it, but don't say a single spoiler in the comment. Say nothing, just say to watch it. I love that because I know that another huge series that Bones did that went in an alternate direction has a very controversial ending, that being Soul Eater. I did watch Soul Eater, but I know that that ending is very controversial for a lot of people, and there are, you know, a lot of manga readers that would love for the Brotherhood treatment for the series. I'm not sure if it'll ever happen, but it would be nice to see that work actually fully realized. Yeah, no, I thought it was a nice, like, fitting ending. I just would have liked to see a lot more resolution, because especially in the anime for Soul Eater, they did introduce a lot of characters towards the end, and those characters went nowhere. Like, they didn't do anything, they were just introduced. So it was very obvious that they were introduced to have an important role a little later on, but never actually got to fulfill that role. I've never heard anyone complain about the ending for Fullmetal Alchemist personally. I've just heard that, you know, people just skip this for the most part and go to Brotherhood. But me, I'm someone who would want to watch the original. Like, I know that it goes in a different direction, but I would want to check out the original and then Brotherhood. I want to see, like, this work fully realized. You know, I want to see what is fully shown in this. I want to see the original work, and I want to see the actual manga faithful adaptation. So if I was to ever actually check out this Fullmetal Alchemist series, I would start with 03. Honestly, I would start with 03, and then I would go on to check out Brotherhood. The manga had started in 2001 and really hit its stride in 2003 with critical award win and the anime hitting in the fall season. By the anime's end in fall 2004, the manga had tripled in circulation and rivaled the likes of One Piece and Naruto in popularity. It's easy to see why Arakawa felt it imperative to assist Bones whenever she could. So it's a bit of a shame that Fullmetal Alchemist 03 is lumped in with others like Shaman King, where that relationship was far less amicable. Yeah, that's a shame. But at the same time, like, I do love that she actually went out of her way to help. The anime would even receive its own feature film continuation in 2005. I did not know that. That follows right after its original ending. The Conqueror of Shambhala. Isn't Shambhala like Shangri-La or something like that? Shambhala, the City of Gold, or City of the Dead, something like that. I know that Shambhala is in one of the Uncharted games, and that's why I can kind of picture what it is, but I don't actually know. So that's interesting. Considering the wild direction that the anime's ending takes, the film is appropriately crazy in its own right, all the while with the best of Bones animators having the free reign to do their magic. Highly recommended after 03's ending finale, which you wouldn't really say for Brotherhood's own filler film. Oh shit, okay, so Brotherhood's filler films kind of drops the ball. Obviously, the manga would receive a second adaptation in 2009, former long-reigning #1 anime Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brotherhood's intent was to faithfully adapt Arakawa's manga, as its conclusion was close at hand, yet in reality it hastily adapts the early section of the story to get to the sections beyond 2003 scope. The reality that the 2003 anime was similarly revered like Brotherhood and therefore assumed to have been seen first was unfortunately lost to time. Yeah, most people nowadays just skip 03 and go straight to Brotherhood. I've said it before to Pinecino in private, like in private conversations. If I am to check out Fullmetal Alchemist, I am 100% doing 03 first. There's no ifs, ands, or buffs about it. I am jumping into 03 and I'm tackling it before I ever do anything Brotherhood related. 03 remains the definitive adaptation of Fullmetal Alchemist's humble beginnings, and we highly recommend it to both prospective new fans. Anyone watching this video, if you want to see Fullmetal Alchemist, Pinecino recommends you check out the original 03 first. And I will also be doing the same, so I haven't seen it, so I can't endorse that, but, you know, I do personally think that would be the best way of going about that, personally. I don't know. Everyone's got their own opinions, though, so I'm sure others will have different opinions, but, you know, please don't spoil anything if you want to talk about why you agree or disagree with that with that statement in the comments below, and those who have only seen Brotherhood, though licensors have certainly made that difficult since it's one of the most glaring absences in current streaming platforms, a situation that only further relegates it to unwarranted obscurity. Yeah, that's a shame. I think that if this would be on popular streaming services like, you know, Tiki Crunchyroll's, Netflix's, anything that's really making a dent in the anime scene, I'm sure it would get a lot more eyes, especially for people who've only seen Brotherhood, who are maybe itching to get back into the world, who have this idea of like, oh, maybe I could check out the original. I get a different taste for things, different aspects. I know that 2009 was also done by Bones, correct? Like Brotherhood was also done by Bones. I'm curious if some of the kind of like, you know, leitmotifs, themes, music, and just different things that made Fullmetal Alchemist 03 so unique, like the stuff that made it like its own thing, like the OST, etc., like just certain things, sound effects even, I don't know. I'm curious then if those are carried over to Brotherhood, and you know they reuse a lot of the same things, because that would be really cool as a fan of 03 to then, like 6 years later, well 5 years later I guess, because it ended in 04, to then see all this stuff, hear all this stuff that you're already familiar with. Like that would be really cool to me to actually see that play out. They actively try to do scenes differently, though in my opinion they produce less results for those scenes. Interesting. I'm curious then to hear what anyone in the comments has to say about that, whether you think that Brotherhood elevated scenes that 03 also did in some aspects, or if you agree that 03 did those scenes better and that Brotherhood kind of sped through it and didn't exactly do it the justice that maybe it deserved. But now we will talk about the opening. We'll dive into the opening. Porno Graffitti, holy shit, what a banger song that they produced for this opening. It was so good. I did not want it to end. I've mentioned it before in some openings. I think most recently I mentioned it during a Gundam opening. The first Gundam opening, actually, Mobile Suit Gundam. I love a spoken intro. Like, you give me a Berserk 97. There's something about a spoken intro that just really, it really like draws me in and grips me and just like makes me invested immediately. I love it so much. It's pretty much the intro for every episode. Yeah, I love that. Like, you know, Destiny, like the hand of God, like, you know, it's iconic, and it'll always be in my head anytime I think of Berserk. Like, it's just one of those things that I just love a spoken intro, and I'm so glad that we're able to check another one out here. I haven't seen any of the openings for Brotherhood, but I would hope that they also continue the theme of spoken intro, because it's iconic and it's badass and cool. I love that the opening itself doesn't give away a whole lot. It doesn't spoil much. It starts off with, I was speaking of Berserk, you know, the hand of God like reaching up. It starts with a very similar shot with the hand reaching up, like a mechanical hand reaching up towards the heavens. So I guess that's kind of symbolic and representing the idea of the future and like the like new what's that called, like David and God, like the finger touch thing, like reaching out for God. Like, you know, you can draw comparisons to that, but this is a metal hand this time, so it's technological advancements within the world and showing like new like versions or new aspects and the way the world's changed, I guess. And it immediately tells us that this isn't exactly like the normal world that we're used to. There's going to be some aspects that enhance what we're used to in the real world, etc., like stuff like that. So I think that was a really cool idea that they decided to go with, just this immediate shot right here. It's pretty iconic, honestly. And then we see like these glyphs on the floor, and you know, Fullmetal Alchemist, I'm pretty sure I've seen just by being online through the years that power system is like alchemy. I don't know if that's done through like these glyphs. Oh yeah, I do mean the famous painting, Michelangelo's Adam and God. Yeah, you're right. I just couldn't remember anything about it. But yeah, that painting, like that's kind of what that reminds me of, like the reaching up towards God. Obviously it's not the exact same, but that's what that reminds me of. I'm curious then if this is how the power system kind of works, where it's like these glyphs like these always remind me of Final Fantasy. I'm sure if anyone's played a single Final Fantasy game, you know exactly why. And also, you could say like it's like the opening for Evangelion, you know, like the tree of life or whatever, like the all the different glyphs that then connect, and it's also an End of Eva, kind of similar looking style here. But you know, it's just it looks cool. And then this shot right here with them being silhouetted against the beautiful forefront, like it's not even the background at this front, it's literally like, well, it is in the background I guess, but it's really beautiful, like the really vibrant green against like this darkness that they have. I don't know if that's telling us that they bring darkness to this world, or if they are products of the darkness of this world and they're kind of looking out towards the light and trying to attain that for themselves. They're trying to reach this like beauty, reach something, because you know next to them is like all this rubble, this scrap, and it looks a little destroyed. It looks like there's been some sort of damage done. And then the tree directly above them, like it's very creepy looking tree, you know, all the different branches, there's no leaves, there's nothing of life here in this image. It's all just like the tree is dead. They look just, I don't know, it's just, you know, and while the lyrics also say, sorry, I didn't even notice, squeeze the life out of your sorrows for me. So talk about squeezing the life out of something while we see a dead tree and this kind of imagery right here. It's really interesting, and I think that if I was to check out the series, I'd be able to tie back what I'm seeing in the series to this kind of symbolism and imagery. But then we see a shot of them, they're just looking out really aggressive looking, like their eyes are furrowed. Big robot guy and little dude with the robot arm, like I don't know, did he lose his arm and he built a new one? Like is it kind of like picture Guts Berserk where he loses an arm and he gets a new one built for him? Like I don't know why little ... He's, I mean, I haven't seen him compared to others, but like he looks like just a normal guy, like next to this big ass robot. Like come on, this robot's hunched over and it's like the same size as him. What's that? It's a lion, I think. I thought it was maybe the robot shape, but no, I think it's just a lion. So it's one of the glyphs, I guess. He reaches out and then a glyph shows up and then it fades away and we see the logo. So, oh wait, and then that lion is on the thing behind it. Is that a pocket watch or like a one of those things that you open up and it has a picture inside? Yeah, it's a locket. It's either a locket or pocket watch. I'm curious then if this image that's on it, because we did see a flash right before, is kind of tied to how he loses his arm, because he reaches out, it shows that, and then it shows this immediately after. It's like bang, bang, bang. So this symbol is obviously very important. So if alchemy is kind of like the main power system in this series, I'm wondering then if they kind of like, if he goes to like a school for alchemy or something, and this is kind of like a logo or a symbol for the school, or if it's a logo symbol for the class that he's in or anything like that. Or maybe it's just something related to a dead relative, a dead friend, just something awful that happened that means a lot to the main character. But obviously this symbol being shown twice right after each other, and also pocket watches and lockets are very important to characters. Like if a character has one or the other, it normally means that this is a very important item to them and they're carrying it for a purpose, for a reason. And yeah, I'm just interested if maybe that's kind of at play here as well. The logo is cool. It's very bold and in your face. I like the muted red for the actual Japanese of it, and then I like that the kanji, I guess, is it on the left? Forgive me if I'm wrong with that. Is like steel, it's metal, because you know there's a big robot made of steel and then there's like a robot arm for the main character. So I think it's cool because you know the robot and the main character Edward Elric have like these metal elements. Like pretty cool that it's represented in the logo itself. What comes right after this, and right after that we see them standing on this like roof of this spire, like this tall building, just looking out towards the town or village. It's an obviously very European looking setting. Obviously it's not a literal version of it, but a fictionalized version anyway. It's very beautiful looking, the light peeking over the mountains and lighting up the whole surrounding area is stunning. Then we see this girl. She looks cool. I like her earrings. I like her hair. I like her style. She obviously is someone who tinkers a lot with mechanisms and building, because she's got like screwdrivers and all these different parts just lying around her room, blueprints. She's got like, is that a lathe on the left? I can't tell. And then she wakes up and she's got this wrench right next to her. So she's obviously just fell asleep with this, right next to her, and she kind of just wakes up, looks out, and has this real goofy face. I think it's really funny. She's just kind of like, I'm awake now. Like it's probably like 2 p.m. and she's just now awake. Like, I imagine that that's the kind of character she is. I think she would be a very fun character. That's the kind of vibe I get from just seeing her for these like 10 seconds in this opening. But she looks like a very fun one, and yeah, I think I'd want to just like find out more about her, because I'm sure she brings a lot of light to the series. And seeing her with like the light shining in on her might kind of represent that, I guess. Maybe it's just representing that it's daytime. She's only just now awake, because she's a lazy character who's, well, not lazy, but she's the sort of character who's up all night working on stuff, and then she just sleeps all day. Like, I don't know if I can really characterize her based on like the few seconds that we see her in, but I think she looks like she's a very fun style, and I do like it a lot. The backgrounds, again, like the scenery is so beautiful, like this greenery. I feel like we don't really ever see this, especially within early 2000s openings or anime, like this kind of really, really green vibrancy within like openings for surroundings and settings. I feel like a lot of early 2000s openings are very muted in color, actually, and this one as well definitely has a lot of muted colors. Like the characters themselves, like that red on his jacket or his cloak, it doesn't exactly pop. It's red, but it's kind of like a toned out red, opposed to like a real vibrant in your face pop red. And like, that's fine, not everything has to be vibrant, but it's nice when you do see like these shots of this really vibrant green setting, just to like be reminded that they could do this back then. It's not like they lack the ability. It's just like, it's cool that you can kind of see the different eras of animation and what they were able to do, what they couldn't do, and what they would do, what they wouldn't do. You can just see all these different traits within different decades in anime. And even, never mind decades, sometimes you can see it from year to year, the differences. But then, we get this really interesting 3D CG mountain landscape. It's not exactly pretty, but it's not awful either. Like, I've seen worse, and at the same time, I can't imagine there's a lot of 3D CG within the series, and if there is, I don't care. Like, I can get over it. I watched the first MAPPA season of, or the first half of the final season of Attack on Titan, and that shit was not always pretty with its 3D CG, and it never bothered me as much as it bothered a lot of other people. I was just happy to see the story continue. So 3D CG for me is not, it's not awful. Like, I'm not gonna be over here like, oh my god, yes, 3D CG, I love it. I don't care about it all that much, but it doesn't like deter me. It doesn't like turn me away from something. Between them, you think Brotherhood actually has the more prominent CG use. Yeah, that would make sense, actually, because it's a longer series, so budget and stuff. Actually, is it a longer series? I don't even know. So maybe that's entirely bullshit. But yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me, actually, because they would have had more time to work on CG, so they would have more confidence in their use of it. I don't know who she is, but she falls immediately, and then we see this character, who looks very villainous. Those eyes and that lipstick, the green in her shirt or whatever she's wearing, she does not look like a friendly character. She looks like someone who is there to cause drama, there to cause mayhem, and there to get our characters in trouble. She is probably a villainous type in the series. These characters, I really like the main guy's design. He just looks very straight to the point. Almost, actually, he looks pretty similar in design to Edward Elric. Only dark hair. it's very samey face design, only he's very stern looking. He's very I don't know if the word is stoic. I don't know if I'd use that to describe him, but he looks very there to get business done. Like, he's not there to waste time. He's not there to waste any time whatsoever. He's there to get shit done, and he is not there for the drama, to compare him to the girl that we see right after this, I guess. Interesting cast of characters that he's got around him. They don't really scream out anything in particular. Guy on the left looks a little nerdy, but that's only because he's wearing glasses. but yeah, I'm curious then if the guy in the middle has any relation to Edward, whether he's the one to give the watch over or what. I don't know, but he looks like he's in some sort of military group, because you see the badges, I guess, on their lapels and stuff, and it just looks like kind of military uniform. Woman on the right is a queen. I wouldn't be able to tell you that, because she's kind of got a plain appearance just from this opening alone in this little section, but I will take your word for it. I will trust that she's the badass queen. It's so funny that I don't recognize any of these characters. I don't know this series. I've recognized the main character Edward and the robot. That's it. I recognize those character designs, and that's it alone. I feel like, actually, funny enough, I have seen this character design before, because I've seen like I recognize the cross across his forehead, but that's it. Those are the three character designs I feel like I recognize in the series. The rest of the series is entirely blind to me. I know nothing. So yeah, because he's got the scar going over his eyes, I'm curious then if it's kind of like if he's blind. Because then that would make it funny that he wears sunglasses. Well, a lot of times we see blind characters with the scars over their eyes, and a lot of times they do it to themselves. He's got a really cool design. I think it's badass looking, honestly. I like the different shades or tones in his hair. He's got like the white and then the dark down the sides of his hair. Very cool design, very badass. And the fact that he's walking in this kind of sandstorm or dust storm, I'm not sure which it is, just goes to speak volumes about just how like badass he is, because he's like this lone figure walking through it. And yeah, then it focuses on his face, and he's just cool character. He's a cool guy. Like, there's nothing more you can really say about it. The other cast of characters then we see that look very villainous. It doesn't really give them a whole lot of time, but it gives them just enough time that, we get to see some of their designs. And yeah, they don't look like a friendly bunch. They look like they're here to cause drama, but they also look a little goofy as well. So I'm wondering what that's about. Interestingly, Fullmetal Alchemist 03 has the same director as Gundam 00. You said that 00 was very post-Iraq War series, whereas Fullmetal Alchemist 00, or Fullmetal Alchemist 03, of course, ran within the first year of that war and is highly informed by it. There's a particular plot line to Fullmetal Alchemist that very much resembles current events at that time, and that Bone Staff didn't shy away from it at all. Makes it all the more real and effective with its drama. That's really cool. I love, yet again, I said it during the 00 opening, I love that we can sometimes look back at series like these and see that they are kind of important pieces of media for that time and for what was happening in the world, and that they showcase some aspects of what was happening in the world at that time. And I think that's really cool, and I love it when series do that. So I commend, honestly, like the team that worked on this, and for presenting that sort of stuff within this as well, because it's very important for the history of the world, and it's very important that it is documented and shown in media. So I commend them a lot. I did say as well, Porno Graffiti's opening is so good. I love the action that we see in this as well. Like, he's able to kind of like earthbend, like it looked like. I don't really know what happened. What's he got in his hand? A hidden blade? Holy shit, he's got a hidden blade in his hand, or in his arm. So yeah, interesting. And we see sparks flying around it, so I wonder if this is like the conduit for what he's able to do, like the alchemy or whatever. I wonder if this is kind of like a conduit that he is able to do what he does through this thing. Like, we see it looks like lightning effect. We see him like bend earth. Like, yeah, I'm just really questioning now what that means, but I think it's a really cool opening. I love that he goes from this real serious face to a real, well, actually, I thought it was a smile, but no, it's not even a smile. It's just an open mouth scream almost. So yeah, I just want to see this guy smile. I don't think I've seen him smile once this entire opening. I just want him to be a happy guy. Like, I don't want him to be sad. But then we go to that, and then yeah, we just see him doing his thing all over again, and it ends with stone sigils. And yeah, badass. We need some drama for the comments, so Avatar ain't got shit on this. Oh shit, he's causing drama, guys. Get his ass. Speaking of Avatar, you know, spoken intro also. So Avatar Last Airbender took what this series did. I just ran with it. But yeah, no, really cool series. I do really want to check out Fullmetal Alchemist one day, maybe one day on the channel, who knows. And yeah, that's probably going to do it for me for today. Voice is gone. This was a really fun set to check out. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, please comment, letting me know what your favorite opening was, what you'd like to see next from the 2000s in 2025, in the new year. That's crazy. And I don't know what we're going to be checking out next, whether it'll be 2020s or 2010s, but expect that coming up next. And yeah, we are going to end this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. You guys are amazing. I have some kind of ideas in my head for what I'd like to do on the channel coming up. So, you know, expect that. Hopefully, you know, we can start to get things, some new stuff coming in very soon. But yeah, with that said, thank you for stopping by. I will see you in the next one. I hope you're having a great day, and take care.